Sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids, no matter where you are, call now.
800-583-0141.
Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS.
Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start.
Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems.
We have over 1,000 five-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau.
You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com
or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141.
Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
The British antitrust watchdog singles out Google and Apple.
The Competition and Markets Authority escalated scrutiny of the two American tech companies by labeling them with strategic market status. It follows separate probes that the CMA opened into Google's Android and Apple's iOS using newly acquired digital market regulations. The watchdog has said Apple and Google hold an effective duopoly, with 90 to 100% of mobile devices in Britain running on either mobile platform. Google has called the decision disappointing. I'm Charles Villadesma.
The director of the world-famous Louvre Museum has acknowledged a terrible failure at the Paris institution after that daylight crown jewel heist over the weekend. Testifying before the French Senate, the museum chief says the Louvre suffers a shortage of exterior security cameras and suffers other weaknesses as well. Townhall.com. It's controversy of historical significance in the Florida Panhandle.
A proposal to sell a city-owned golf course built on top of the burial grounds for enslaved people is sparking public outcry in Tallahassee. The history, long buried under the manicured lawns of the Capital City Country Club, reviving painful memories of the community's segregated past. Less than 1 mile from the state capitol, archaeologists with the National Park Service have now identified 23 unmarked graves and 14 possible graves near the 7th hole of the golf course. Jason Walker reporting.
Tesla reports selling more vehicles in the past 3 months. However, its profits still dropped sharply. Third quarter earnings down to $1.4 billion from $2.2 billion a year ago. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Good morning to the John Fredericks Media Network all across the United States of America. We welcome into our studios this morning, after a week's absence. We missed you, Crom. The one, the only original All-Star panelist, Crom Carmichael.
Greetings, kind sir.
You know, there's only one original All-Star panelist.
Well, there can only be one.
There is only one,
yeah, there is,
and it's you.
Yeah, okay, if you say so.
You have been
but
on the radio.
But there can only be one.
You have been on the radio.
Please don't say how many years.
Sharing your wisdom since, what, 1985?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, 40 years.
That's a long time.
Yeah. I was on somebody's podcast, and it was kind of interesting because my big, and I think you know this, my big aha moment for me came in 1979.
Well, we'll hold on to that thought.
Okay, excuse me.
But we'll get to it.
You got the morning rundown.
But it's so interesting. But we have to do the morning rundown.
Yes, we do.
Because, you know, Crom.
We got the Glock store.
It is brought to us.
We love talking about the Glock store.
Every day at this time by our friends at the Glock store, located just a few miles from the airport, right here in Nashville, Tennessee. All right. Here is the morning rundown for Wednesday. We're Thursday. I missed a day.
Thursday, yeah.
You're always here on Thursday
I'm
now.
always here on Thursday, yes. I used to be here on Wednesdays. Now I'm here on Thursdays. At our age, that change is difficult.
I need to take another sip of this delicious espresso, Crom. It's time for the morning rundown. Brought to you every day at this time by our good friends at the Glock Store, glockstore.com. This is the morning rundown for Thursday, October 23rd, 2025. Number one, Crom, this will be a bit shocking, but reminiscent of, the college basketball scandal of the early 1950s. Apparently, several NBA players have been arrested for gambling and for influencing the outcome of games and for engaging in another related, kind of unrelated charge it looks like is playing illegal poker games. I'm not so worried about the illegal poker games.
Yeah.
But as we speak, the FBI is holding a press conference in Brooklyn and apparently arrested NBA player Terry Rozier, who unexpectedly, according to reports, in a 2023 game when he was with the Charlotte Hornets, apparently was expected to be the starter, told a friend, I'm not going to play much tonight. And so as a result, his numbers were way off. Kind of looks like if that's proven to be true, that's a big problem. And then Chauncey Billups has been arrested, who was a very well-known player in the NBA. Apparently, the reports are he was involved in an illegal poker game with some mafia-related folks. These are two kind of different issues. But the story is breaking right now, and we may get some updates from the FBI. But obviously, betting on sports, if you're a player or a manager, bad news. Just ask Pete Rose. We'll get to more on it after this. Okay, number 2. Democrats are encouraging violence against ICE. Crom, you and I will talk about that in our next segment. And it's very scary. Number 3, Democrats, again, are putting together an ICE tracker, which is probably obstruction of justice. But the mayor of L.A. was there, and a congressman from California was there as well, announcing that, Democrat. Number 4, talk about punching back. Yesterday, Senator Marsha Blackburn announced that she will be suing FBI agents and Department of Justice for violation of her First Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights for illegally obtaining her phone records. I think she's going to have a good case there. So that's number 4. Number 5, Tom Pappert joins us with more details on that story in hour 2. Number 6, Aaron Galbranson with analysis of Tennessee political stories in hour 3. State Senator Mark Pody will also join us in hour 3. He's got an event coming up this weekend. And finally, number 7, kind of a tag team effort to move phase 2 of the peace talks together. We've got basically Marco Rubio is on his way to Israel tonight, and I think he's going to be landing shortly. He's following up. J.D. Vance was there talking about how we can get phase 2 going there. So there you go. That is the morning rundown, Crom, for Thursday, August 23rd, 2025. Crom is brought to you by our friends at the Glock Store. And, of course, Lenny McGill, our good friend there. Did you know, Crom, that in addition to selling more Glock handguns than any other retailer in the country, they also give away more Glocks than any other retailer? Did you know that? Now you do.
I did not. Now I do.
They continually run sweepstakes that give away Glocks. This month is no exception. At the Glock Store, wait for it, Crom, October is Glocktober. See what we did there?
Very clever.
It's Glocktober. They're giving away the winner's choice of any stock factory Glock handgun. That's up to a $620 value. It's all free, including shipping to your nearest FFL. Now, the easiest way to enter is just to buy one of the GS limited edition pumpkin-themed stickers or patches. You'll then automatically be entered into the sweepstakes. Just 1 entry per sticker, 2 entries per patch. There's complete information as well as a no-cost entry method on the Glocktober giveaway page at glockstore.com/GG. So this is Lanny McGill. He's not only that Glock guy, Crom, he's that Glock giveaway guy.
There you go.
You like that?
Yep.
If you've always wanted a Glock, and especially a free Glock, visit glockstore.com today. Crom, I want to talk about how insane the Democrats have become. And to illustrate it, I want to do it in a humorous way.
Okay.
And did you see?
Okay.
Did you see? You know the movie star Jeff Daniels?
Yes.
Did you see his musical performance?
Yes.
Okay. This is the word we will look up in the dictionary that will describe this.
Okay.
Is cringeworthy.
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 Yes.
Here we go. Jeff Daniels pretending he's a Peter, Paul, and Mary type from the 1960s.
Who am I to judge? It's nice to know in a world full of hate, there's someone out there still making love.
Grom.
On the left.
Grom. He thinks that was on MSNBC.
Yeah, I know, with Nicole Wallace.
I mean,
and it went on for like 3 minutes.
Oh, it went on for a long time.
Long time.
Which tells you they got nothing to say there.
My question, because this kind of brings it back to me, is was he dumb or dumber? I don't remember which part he played, but
dumbass.
Either one would seem to me to be appropriate.
He thinks that's a cool song.
He really does, and he thinks he is a very cool person.
He does.
And
yikes,
that is.
I mean, that is.
And Nicole Wallace, I think, thinks he's a very cool person.
Yeah,
but Michael, I just if I
sure.
could,
yeah,
a couple of things. One is playing poker with the mafia.
Yeah,
I can't think of something that would be more likely to end poorly, because if you win, that's not good.
No.
And
if you lose,
you lose. That's not good. So I mean, beating the mafia at poker is not a wise thing to do. Now, losing to them is just plain dumb. So that is, if he is to be arrested for anything, it should be doing something that's truly stupid. But I don't think that's a crime. And it'll be interesting to see if playing poker with the mafia is somehow terrible. Now, and if it's connected to basketball, that's a different thing. But the Marsha Blackburn thing, one thing.
Yeah.
Is she suing them individually?
Yes.
I'm hoping she is suing them individually and not the FBI as an agency.
No, the individual agents apparently. Now, this broke late yesterday.
Yeah.
And look, it's the right thing to do.
It is. And this is part of what you and I have discussed for years, is how do you hold rogue government officials accountable for actions they take when they are a government employee that is outside of what they are allowed to do. And if Marsha Blackburn's case is against the individuals and is allowed by the courts to proceed, and I hope that the courts do allow her to proceed, this could be the remedy, is to put government employees who go rogue, to expose them.
When Tom Papert joins us in hour 2, we'll talk in more detail. We don't know the attorneys yet, but I think her case is going to be very strong. Crom will be back and talking about the violent Democrats after this.
Rosie's in Richmond is revving up. October is all about horsepower at Rosie's Gaming Emporium. All month long, Saturday qualifier drawings put you in the fast lane to win. October 25th, one lucky guest takes a victory lap in a brand new 2025 Dodge Charger. Fast Track Rewards members earn entries daily with 10x entries every Wednesday. Rosie's in Richmond, home of the largest jackpots in Virginia. Are you ready? Get in the winner's circle at Rosie's Richmond, 6807 Midlothian Turnpike, rosiesgaming.com.
Do you think workers in Virginia should be forced to pay union dues and fees just to get or keep a job? For nearly 80% of Virginians, the answer is no. For Virginia to keep on thriving, Governor Youngkin got it right.
We have to protect right to work.
And Virginia's Lieutenant Governor Winsome Earl Sears agrees. As the Republican gubernatorial candidate for governor in Virginia, Winsome Earl Sears has pledged to protect Virginia's right-to-work law. Her opponent, Democratic candidate Abigail Spanberger, won't make that same commitment. In fact, she has repeatedly supported and voted for legislation in Congress that would repeal Virginia's right-to-work law. Demand that Abigail Spanberger pledge complete opposition to forced unionism. Call Abigail Spanberger, 804-223-0770. That's 804-223-0770. Urge her to promise that she will protect Virginians' right to work. This ad was paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Be Fur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BeFurAndAfterGrooming.com. Be Fur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
I'm Ed Evans, CEO of Consumer Cellular. Ever wonder why Big Wireless wants you on an unlimited plan? They probably want you to cover the cost of those 20-somethings using all that data every month. But most people 50 and up like me only use 12 gigs or less. Don't get bamboozled by Big Wireless. Switch to Consumer Cellular. Our plans start at just $20, and we use the same towers as the big guys. Join the millions who choose something better, because if you're not using all that data, you're probably getting used.
Call 1-888-FREEDOM or visit consumercellular.com/facts. Plans include $5 credit for auto pay and e-billing. See site for additional facts.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at GlockStore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at GlockStore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I'm Chanel Sheeran, and I'm honored to share a special invitation on behalf of Senator Mark Pody. Mark would like to personally invite you to his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Go to markpody.com. This is a time to gather as neighbors, celebrate our values, look ahead to all God has in store for our future together. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director in Washington, D.C. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith at the center of everything he does. He stands firmly for faith, family, and freedom, supporting our schools, teachers, protecting our children, and community safety. So bring your friends, your family, and your faith, and come celebrate with us on October 25th. Together, through our diligence and prayer, we can keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative, Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, the original All-Star panelist, Carmichael Crom. These are not the Democrats of your father's party or even my early youth. These are nihilistic, violent promoting people who hate America.
Mm-hmm. And the Democrat Party, and this is kind of a bigger picture, Michael, the Democrat Party has been moving in this direction for the last 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
And it didn't move this direction per se under Clinton, but Hillary Clinton was as the person who was put in charge of health care without going through a Senate hearing. In other words, she was head of HHS without being appointed. She was a take no prisoners type of person, and Clinton allowed her to be that way.
Mm-hmm.
Then when Obama got to be president, then it started going full tilt, but he did it with that voice of his. But he was putting in place people at many institutions across our government, education, that are a socialist/communist, but clearly anti-American.
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 Let me give you an example of that right now.
Sure, please.
Crom.
Yeah.
So in Los Angeles, they want to basically set up Los Angeles, the city and the county, as a separate country, where if you're an illegal alien, you're part of the community. They want to ignore our federal laws, but they want to go beyond that. Listen to this teacher of history, public school teacher in Los Angeles, screaming about the need to engage violently with federal law enforcement officers. Here we go, clip 20.
Don't forget where you're standing. This is South Central Los Angeles. They are not the only ones with guns in this city. They're not the only ones, and don't forget that. And I don't say that because we're calling for violence. I'm saying that because the people have every right to defend themselves against masked, unidentified gunmen with AR-15s and other military rifles. The people have every right to defend themselves.
So I'm not calling for violence, but I'm calling for violence.
Well, but let me also say this. One thing he says in there, and Democrats say this over and over again, they say that these people, yes, they wear masks, and that's to protect their families.
Yeah.
I get that. But then they say they're unidentified. That is false.
Yeah.
They are wearing vests that clearly say ICE on the front and the back. And that is an identifying mark of a federal agent.
Yeah.
And so but here's some of the other examples that you have. You have this Jay Jones character who's running for Attorney General in Virginia, who a Democrat who openly wanted to put 2 bullets in the head of the Speaker of the House, a Republican in Virginia, and then wanted his 4-year-old and 2-year-old child to die in their mother's arms.
Yeah.
Because and he made it very clear. He said people have to suffer pain before they'll change.
That's their attitude.
And this is key. That is not just his attitude. That is their party's attitude, because nobody in their party will tell Jay Jones to get out of the race.
Not a single one.
Not a single person. Now you have the candidate in Maine who has a Nazi tattoo on his chest.
Democrat.
A Democrat running as against Susan Collins, and this guy has a first of all, he was apparently a very wealthy child.
Went to Hotchkiss. When I went to Harvard, that was one of the elite schools that a lot of the kids had gone to. It's like, $75,000 a year.
A private school.
Yeah.
I mean, you're talking about grade school. You're talking about K through 12, not.
I'm talking about
K through 12, not college. K through 12.
High school, yeah.
So he goes to and that's not to say everybody goes to a private school is necessarily bad, but it does mean that he's had plenty of privileges, but now he calls himself a communist.
Mm-hmm.
And Bernie Sanders is all about him. Well, it turns out a couple of things. Turns out he has a Nazi tattoo on his chest, or he had one. Now he's tried to cover it up by going in and having the tattoo artist put something else on it. Well, if you're not ashamed of your original tattoo, why are you trying to cover it up? If you don't know what it is, and by the way, he did know what it was, because he also they're now finding texts that have been deleted, but as you know, you can't delete anything once it's up there.
Anything digital lives forever.
It lives forever, and so they've now found that he has called for killing police.
Yeah.
I mean, but the problem is he is exactly what the mainstream now, the activists that control the Democrat Party, this is what they believe. And here's another example. There's a congresswoman who went on CNN and said to Aaron Burnett.
Who is this congresswoman?
Congresswoman is Jolanda Jones from Texas.
Okay.
And here's the headline: CNN anchor can't believe it as rising Democrat star indicates she'll, quote, slit the throats of Republicans. That's a quote. That she'll slit their throats. And she claims because she's from the hood that she can do that if they get in her, quote, get in her face. Well, what does that mean? And Aaron Burnett, who is a crazy leftist on CNN, but in other words, allows people to say whatever they want to without her pushing back. Even she was completely flummoxed by this, and this woman wouldn't back off.
She's a state representative, Jolanda Jones.
Okay.
She's running to try and succeed in Congress.
Okay.
And part of this she said, if they go low, I'm going to go to the gutter. She vows to fight ugly. If you hit me in my face, I'm going to go across your neck.
Yeah. And so what I'm saying is this is now not only the language that these people like the teacher in Los Angeles, these are now people who are running for office, and they're perfectly happy to say it right on TV.
Crom, let me tell you kind of what their plan here is on this. It's very obvious. These are all, if you look at the picture here, I can't show it here, but you look at, this is a a very well turned out,
yeah,
person, very well manicured, coiffed,
yeah.
presents very attractive,
presents very attractively, yeah.
As is Zoran Mamdani,
yeah, has a wonderful
as
smile.
Is Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez,
yes,
right,
yeah.
So what are you could even argue Jasmine Crockett. So what is it they're doing? They are basically going for style and glibness, well over. Is that you or me? Yeah, this is I. By the way, I apologize for no. It's not the phone. It's like
it's a computer.
Now CNN and Fox News, they throw up all this audio junk.
If you go on their website,
I hate it.
Okay,
apologies to
we'll
the
get
audience
over
for
it.
that.
Yes.
I know.
All right,
but it irritates me.
Yes.
So, Crom, but the point is that this is what their strategy is.
Yeah.
To be well dressed, well coiffed, to smile, and
then say these terrible things.
Say terrible things.
Yeah. And they mean it, by the way.
Yeah. Oh, they mean it.
They absolutely mean it. They will rejoice. They will rejoice if people who are trying to enforce our laws, which Congress passed, if an ICE agent is killed, they will rejoice.
They will.
Yeah.
Just as they are now, many of them rejoicing over the assassination on September 10th.
Yeah. Now,
of Charlie Kirk.
Yeah. Now let me say this: the people who would rejoice. The problem is that is the energy now that's in the Democrat Party.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me is this: Andrew Cuomo was an old-time liberal.
Yeah.
Big government, works with labor unions, blah blah blah.
Cash-free bail.
Those kinds of things that he kept endorsing those things because he had to keep moving slightly more to the left,
to keep on power.
To stay in power. But then he got overthrown by some people who got tired of his moving so slowly, and he literally was forced out of office by accusations.
Yeah,
they were accusations.
Probably.
They were
may have been some fire around that smoke, but Crom, when we come back, more Democrat turpitude. You like that?
Turpitude. Yes, I'll look
back
that
after
up.
this.
Now more than ever, it's imperative to support companies that share our conservative values. That's why I can't be more excited to tell you that I've switched my family to Patriot Mobile. Patriot Mobile is America's only Christian conservative wireless provider. When you switch to Patriot Mobile, you shift your support away from the leftist, woke, progressive agendas of Big Mobile. Patriot Mobile's wireless service works perfectly and seamlessly as you go about your lives with exceptional nationwide coverage that uses the same towers the main carriers use. Patriot Mobile donates a portion of every dollar earned to causes you care about, to organizations that fight for religious freedom, First and Second Amendments, sanctity of life, and the needs of veterans and first responders. Patriot Mobile has plans to fit any budget, along with great discounts for our veterans and first responder heroes, as well as multi-line users. Switching is easy. Just go to patriotmobile.com/Godzilla or call their U.S.-based customer service team, 972-PATRIOT. That's 972-728-7468. Use offer code Godzilla for free activation.
The words you are about to hear are taken from an actual text conversation between Jay Jones and another state delegate.
I'll go to their funerals to piss on their graves.
Jay Jones.
2 bullets. Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head.
Jay, please stop.
Okay.
It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die.
Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy.
Jay Jones hoped children could die to advance his political agenda. Jay Jones admits these are his words. Look it up in the Washington Post. Jay Jones wished violence on his opponent's children. So how could we trust him to protect our children? Jay Jones should never be Attorney General.
I'm Jason Miyares, candidate for Attorney General, and this ad was sponsored by Miyares for Virginia.
The Cats and Cosby Show.
It's a common sense recap of the big stories.
Mondami visited a very controversial Brooklyn mosque just months after the imam there called for the annihilation of Israel. Your thoughts?
This is a total failure of the media, the journalists, and the Democratic Party to confront this kid with his own background. He's a rabid socialist.
Cats and Cosby, 5 Eastern, 4 Central on the John Frederick Media Network.
He gave the finger to the Columbus statue.
Right. I can't almost think of any group he hasn't offended.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at CreeksidePetHotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
My fellow Americans, I have to tell you about my good friends at D.T. McCall & Sons. They have furniture and appliances and a lot more. They've been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years, and they're not going to rip you off. No hidden charges, no delivery charges, no charges for all of the crazy things. These are sick people at the lumber yards. These are very sick people. They charge you for cords and hoses and haul off. They charge you for all of these things. They call them hidden charges. It's the type of surprise that you don't want to see. It's like an October surprise, but it's worse. D.T. McCall & Sons, they're not going to do that. They're great people. They're going to give you a great deal. With locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, D.T. McCall & Sons will give you the deal of your life. Check them out today or go to dtmccalls.com.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs, and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In the studio, Carmichael Crum. I think we're in a situation, in some regards, similar to the divisions in the country prior to the American Civil War. Because you've got a number of states, leaders, and city leaders who have basically saying we will not follow federal law.
You know, here's what's interesting, Michael. I like what you just said, but here's what's interesting, and we've talked about this, that there's cultures within cultures. And the American culture is different from the European culture, even though they are both under the general umbrella of Western culture. But within the United States, there are different cultures, and we need to go back and talk about the culture in the South prior to the Civil War. Which party controlled every single state?
Democrats.
The Democrats controlled every single state in the South. And it was the Democrats in the South who said that they were no longer going to live under federal law. It was the Democrats who did that. And then after they lost in the Civil War, and then they struck a bargain to force that where they agreed to allow a Republican to be president because there was a tie vote in the House. It's
1876.
1876.
Rutherford B. Hayes.
Yes, and they allowed him to be
Samuel Tilden.
They allowed him to be president as long as he would agree to remove the troops from the South. And then what replaced the troops was the KKK, which became the at that time it became what is the modern day Antifa. And by the way, the KKK had no formal leader.
Yeah.
It was also just like Antifa in that it was a bunch of people who would run around in white hoods, and they would hang black people who sought to run for office and any white people who supported black people running for office.
Now let's fast forward,
Yeah, and
Crom, to 2025.
And the same Democrat Party, which doesn't like the federal laws that they passed, that they participated in passing, the very laws that they participated in passing, and now they're not convenient for them, rather than work through the process to try to change the laws, they want to essentially revolt.
Nullify the laws.
Nullify
and
the
revolt.
laws in revolt. Yeah.
So let's take a look at an example of that. And so in Los Angeles, they consider themselves a different country. Like 10% of the population of Los Angeles, Crom, is illegal aliens.
Okay.
And the mayor of
that's a large number because Los Angeles is big.
Yeah, it's a very large number.
Yeah.
And the mayor of Los Angeles got together with a newly elected Democrat Congressman, Robert Garcia. And they announced what I think would amount to actually a violation of the law. I think this is obstruction of justice.
Okay.
They are announcing here an ICE agent tracker.
Somebody had to build that for them.
Well,
they're not capable. They are not capable of building that.
Well,
app.
let's play the press conference
Yeah.
and then do the analysis. Let's go with this right now. Clip 20.
I shared this with the mayor. Over the course of the next couple of weeks, the Oversight Committee will be launching on their website a master ICE tracker where we're going to be essentially tracking every single instance that we can verify that the community will be able to send us information on.
Okay, so that this guy is going to use the minority website for the House Oversight Committee to encourage obstruction of justice and to encourage local people around the country to fight against ICE agents who are simply enforcing the federal immigration law.
Yeah. Now, here's what what I would be concerned about if I worked for a company that was actually providing the technology to do that. I would have to wonder whether or not I'm going to be caught up in a dragnet of where I too will be brought in front of courts, indicted for obstruction of justice for participating in a conspiracy. Because it's clear what the goal of this is, and that is to keep ICE agents from performing their legal actions.
Yeah, it's obstruction of justice,
in
my view.
And so what they're doing is this. Michael, we've talked about this before. There's the exception to the rule. And so let's say that ICE arrests 10,000 hardened criminals. And in the process of arresting 10,000 hardened criminals, they arrest 100 illegal immigrants who happen to be caught up in the incursion to arrest the criminals. But they're there and they're criminals themselves because they crossed the border. But
they're yet to be charged criminals.
Well, yeah, but I mean,
most of them.
I'm saying they're illegal immigrants. So they have already committed a crime.
Correct.
But I'm talking about these are 10,000.
Well,
these are 10,000 people who have committed crimes.
If they've just you know what I'm saying. If they've crossed the border illegally, that is a crime.
Yeah.
But you have to be convicted of that crime. You have to be brought before court, and so they're basically presumed guilty.
I see what you're saying, but what I'm saying is if there are people who are criminal illegal immigrants who have committed other crimes.
Yes.
Those are the ones that ICE is going after the hardest.
Right.
In the process of going after the really, really bad guys, they are arresting additional people who happen to be there at the time that they're arresting the really, really bad guys, but these are people who
are here illegally as
who
well.
are here illegally.
Right.
And so it is, and then what all the left talks about is the person who got arrested who was just here trying to work hard and provide for the family, and which might be 1% of the arrests, and they are completely ignoring the 99% of the arrests that are. I mean, it's like this group of group of street vendors in New York.
Yeah, right.
They were arrested a day or so ago. There were 9 of them, and they had rap sheets as long as your arm. All of them. They were all hardened criminals who were also selling counterfeit goods, and yet the left is determined to protect these hardened criminals who are selling counterfeit goods.
Yeah.
And so this is where we are. And it's
Would you like one other caveat?
Yeah, please, yeah.
So we're looking at, in New York, the Muslim Marxist from Manhattan, Zoran Mamdani, who it looks like is going to win.
Yeah.
Now the question is, why is he going to win? And I will tell you the answer. 36% of residents of New York City are foreign-born.
Okay.
If you look at the American-born voters in New York City, 42% of them support Andrew Cuomo. 30% of them support Mamdani, and like 20% or so support Curtis Sliwa. If you look at the foreign-born, the 36% of New York City who are foreign-born, 62% of them support Mamdani. 25% support Cuomo.
And the Democrat Party, in trying to maintain its power, has now essentially had an open borders program, because they recognize that if you bring people in from other cultures who don't understand how our free market system benefits the largest number of people possible, if you bring people in who can be bamboozled and fooled by people like Mamdani, and the things that he says are unworkable, but they sound nice. So if you can bring people in and get them to vote Democrat while they're still ignorant, it doesn't mean they're stupid, but it does mean they're ignorant. They don't know how our system works to benefit the largest number of people possible. They don't understand that. The Democrats want people who are ignorant in this country, which is why the Democrat Party is so determined to keep mostly black and Hispanic kids who go to the government-run schools uneducated. Because the more they can keep them uneducated, the more they're going to continue to vote for Democrats.
The other thing to explain all of this resistance to the enforcement of immigration laws by ICE agents, is rooted in the desire of the Democratic Party to maintain power.
Absolutely.
Because if you look at it, I mean, the open borders was entirely a plan to maintain Democrats in power.
Right.
Well, Trump shut that down effectively. Now, if he throws out all the illegal aliens, the Democrat power base is going to decline. No question about it.
Absolutely.
And that's why Democrats are making this literally the hill to die on.
Yes. Now, something that's going on in California is very interesting. There's a constitutional amendment in California. If you get enough signatures, you can put on the ballot, you can put constitutional amendments. It takes something like 800,000 signatures, valid signatures.
Right.
So you better get 1,200,000 because they'll go through and try to invalidate. This is a constitutional amendment that requires voter ID to vote in California and proof of citizenship. It is supported by 3/4. The idea of voter identification and proof of citizenship is actually supported by 75% of the people of California. In their first 2 weeks, they got over 250,000 signatures. So if that is also on the ballot this coming November, if it's on the ballot, and I think it would, no, it can't possibly be that. Oh, excuse me, it'd be next November.
Yeah,
in 26. Yeah. So they have plenty of time to get the signatures. If that's on the ballot and that passes, that makes life in California for the Democrats much more difficult, because they are clearly willing to cheat to win.
No.
And the other thing
that's how they won 2020.
And the other thing that Trump is doing that I think is interesting is he wants to have another census done, and he's going through the appropriate process so that the census counts only citizens.
Yeah.
So we'll see how that turns out.
When we come back, Crom, we're going to change the subject a little bit. You want to talk about the Nobel Prize awarded in economics, to a Harvard economist,
and a couple of others. I think there were 3.
Back after this.
Yes.
Is a record player the best way to listen to music? Of course not. So why are you still taking vitamins in pill form that haven't been upgraded since the 1930s? Even if you don't have trouble swallowing, most vitamins in pill form can't be absorbed very well. It's time to upgrade to the pill-free future of vitamins. Advanced nutrition company, Healthy Cell, created a patent-pending ingestible gel that is clinically proven to have 265% the absorption rate of tablets. These physician-formulated supplements come in a small gel pack. You tear off the top and shoot it down. You can also mix it in water. They taste great, they're convenient on the go, and they're more natural too, without chemical binders, fillers, and coatings. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com. HEALTHYCELL.com.
If you plan on voting for the Republicans in Virginia in November, vote early. That is the key to victory. Let's hear what Governor Youngkin has to say.
We have to get the vote out, and you have to vote early. Something could happen on Election Day, and you will miss it, and we can't afford to miss it. SecureYourVoteVirginia.com is ready to help you make a plan to vote early. Get out and vote. Every single vote counts. Go to SecureYourVoteVirginia.com and make a plan to vote early.
Early voting is underway. The time to vote is now. Paid for by Spirit of Virginia.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
Chanel Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, original All-Star panelist Crom. You know, the Nobel Prize has been prestigious for well over a century. Mm-hmm. The Peace Prize is actually delivered in Norway. All the other prizes are delivered in Sweden. For some reason, they didn't think that Donald Trump delivered enough to win the Nobel Peace Prize. That was the Norwegians. But the Swedes have announced somebody to win the Nobel Prize in Economics. Who are the people, and what is it for?
I'm not going to be very good at their names.
Yeah.
So I may hand this to you, but their names are right here. I'll let you read the names there.
Joel Mokry, Philippe Aghion and Peter Howitt. They won the Nobel Peace Prize in Economic Sciences for their work explaining innovation-driven economic growth, particularly through the concept of creative destruction.
Yeah, and this is key. So let's talk a little bit about that last part, and that is creative destruction. This goes back to an economist who started that named Schumpeter.
Yes, Joseph Schumpeter.
Joseph Schumpeter.
I think you've got an audio about.
Oh yes, in our Great Economic Thinkers.
Yeah.
We don't have that really available. So talking about that with the Giants of PoliticalThought.com. GiantsOfPoliticalThought.com. We cover a lot of political thinkers, but Joseph Schumpeter was the economist who kind of started the notion of creative destruction. And what that means is, and I'm just going to give some simple examples. The car creatively destroyed horse-drawn carriages.
It did.
Yeah, and then the iPhone destroyed many devices that previously were used, including cameras, including computers. All kinds of different technologies are now incorporated in a single device that we carry around in our pockets.
Yeah.
And airplanes, the interstate highway system, and trucks. They didn't destroy the railway system, but they did change the economics of it. Then you have things like air conditioning, which didn't destroy anything but created the opportunity to live in places like Florida and live comfortably.
Yeah.
And so what they're doing is what these guys documented was and the way I like to is they documented the obvious, and but they did document it, and that is that in order for innovation to happen, you have to protect the property rights of the innovator. If you do not protect the property rights of the innovator, then capital markets are not able to support innovation.
Why would you innovate if you're not going to reap the
Or
rewards?
why would you invest in innovation if others can just merely copy you after you've done all the work? And so and we are the first country in the history of the world where our Constitution requires that intellectual property be protected. It's in Article 2, Section 8 of our Constitution, where it says Congress shall, not may, but shall, create an office, and I'm not going to quote exactly, but it's essentially to protect intellectual property. Now, that includes copyrights. It includes, so if you're an author, your work is protected. If you're a music writer, a songwriter, it's protected. But if you're an innovator, then and you file for and receive a patent for innovating something that's novel, you have a right for 20 years and maybe 21 years to commercialize and exploit that patent. And so what these guys proved is, in the absence of having protection of intellectual property, prosperity would not continue. And this is key, because if you listen to people like Mamdani says, and he says it very clearly, he quotes Marx. He says there should be no private property. He says, quote, I'm quoting him, which is quoting Marx, government should control the means of production. Well, that means that government should control innovation. And if that were to happen,
there will be no innovation.
There would be no innovation. Yeah. And, it's kind of like that old joke in Russia. They pretend to pay us, and we pretend to work.
Yeah.
And so consequently, the entire Russian economy is smaller than the economy of Italy. And that's when the government is all powerful. That is the result. And so what these guys proved, and it's all these mathematical equations and everything, but I like to say what they did was they proved the obvious. So if I say to somebody, if you don't protect intellectual property, you cannot have prosperity, and then somebody says, prove it. Well, I can't, but these guys did. So now I can go. Now I can cite their work.
They got a Nobel Prize in economics for
and
proving the obvious.
Yeah, but still, they
them,
proved it. They didn't just assert it like I do. I assert it and then prove it with reason. They've actually proved it with data. So good for them. Good for them.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's obvious. But this is something that the Democrats
don't believe. It isn't obvious to Mamdani.
Yeah.
Not if Mamdani actually seeks a better life for as many people as possible.
He doesn't.
Well, I'm saying if he does,
he seeks power.
I agree. And what? By the way, just slipping over to Mamdani just for a second, because that election's coming up here like 2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
And when that election happens, if he were to win, and then he tries to do all the things that he says he's going to do, he'll lose a lot of federal money. I mean, a lot of federal money.
But there will be free buses on which lots of crimes can take place.
Well, we will see.
Where no police will come to save you.
But there have to be potential victims on the buses. So if the only people riding the buses are the criminals,
they will be rolling crime dens.
Well, but there has to be a victim.
Yeah. Well,
if it's only criminals on the buses, then they go, geez, what are we doing here? Let's go to the subway.
Thanks, Crum.
You bet.
We'll see you next Thursday. Up next, Tom Pappert. With this lawsuit, Marsha Blackburn's is going to file against members of the FBI.
Each of us is born with 30 trillion cells that make us. These cells determine how we feel, perform, sleep, focus, and how long we live. And to live our best life, all we have to do is feed our cells properly. But most supplements don't reach our cells, keeping us from reaching our full potential. Make every cell count with Healthy Cell. Founded with a mission to empower people to take control of their own health at the most fundamental level, the cell. Dr. Vincent Giampapa, world-renowned cell researcher and medical doctor, created supplements that work at the cellular level to support immune health, better sleep, sharper focus, and healthy aging. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of any product. That's healthycell.com, HEALTHYCELL, and use code GODZILLA for 20% off.
Let's face it, losing weight isn't just about looks. It's about taking back control of your health. Tired of confusing diets and injections with harsh side effects? Meet Drop, an oral GLP-1 peptide from the Wellness Company that boosts metabolism, curbs cravings, and helps you burn fat. No needles needed. Just mix it with water and let your body do the rest. Right now, get $100 off and free shipping at twc.health/Godzilla and use the promo code Godzilla100 to save $100. Drop the weight. Take back your life.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF.
WJFN, W224EB, 92.7 FM Chester, W299DB, 107.7 Barnaire, 100.5 FM Goochland, and WJFV Portsmouth, AM.
From Town Hall, I'm Rich Thomason. Wrapping up his visit to Israel, Vice President Vance is condemning an Israeli parliament vote on annexing the West Bank.
Somebody told me that it was a political stunt, that it had no practical significance. It was purely symbolic. I mean, look, if it was a political stunt, it was a very stupid political stunt, and I personally take some insult to it.
Vance is on the same page as Secretary of State Marco Rubio, now headed to Israel. The Trump administration turning up the heat on Vladimir Putin, slapping sanctions on Russia's two biggest oil companies. Ukrainian President Zelensky says it's quite clear that Russia will not commit to serious ceasefire talks without some serious arm twisting.
Ceasefire is possible, of course, and I think all of us need ceasefire. But we need more pressure on Russia for ceasefire.
A warning to radio and TV station operators from FCC Chairman Brendan Carr.
Giving a monopoly to one entity on these particular airwaves, and so what the federal government expects is that you look out for not just your own partisan or narrow interest, but you're looking out for the broader public interest of the community.
And if they don't, Carr tells the Salem Radio Network that holders of broadcast licenses could lose those licenses. Portland Trail Blazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier among more than 30 people arrested in connection with a federal investigation into illegal sports betting. Federal government shutdown drags on after Senate Democrats once again torpedoed a Republican bill to reopen the federal government and begin budget negotiations. Another suspected drug-running boat blown to smithereens off the coast of Colombia. The vessel taken out by the U.S. military. It is the second such strike in the Pacific. Watching Wall Street, the Dow is 64 points higher, while the Nasdaq is up 142 points. More on these stories, townhall.com.
Hey, I'm Mike Slater. My dad passed away at the age of 63. It's out of nowhere. Had a stroke. Super hard, obviously, for the whole family, but my dad had life insurance. This is why I have life insurance for my family, for my wife and 4 kids. And the best place to get life insurance is ethos.com, because you can do it in 10 minutes. And there's no medical exam and no blood test, just a few health questions. Get life insurance in 10 minutes so your family is protected. Ethos, E-T-H-O-S, ethos.com/Mike.
The Dinesh D'Souza Podcast, now available on the Salem Podcast Network.
This is a comeback of really providential proportions. There has to be some sort of higher purpose or higher plan. I think we can see now what that plan was. And that is that God, it appears, had something in mind, a big project, if you will, for Donald Trump.
Subscribe to the Dinesh D'Souza Podcast on Apple, Spotify, YouTube, Rumble, or at SalemPodcastNetwork.com.
New York City's 3 mayoral candidates share the stage for the second and final debate of the campaign.
Former Governor Andrew Cuomo said in Wednesday's debate, carried by Spectrum News New York 1, that if front-runner Zohran Mamdani won, President Donald Trump would take over the city. Republican Curtis Sliwa accused Cuomo and Mamdani of antagonizing Trump, and Mamdani questioned Cuomo about sexual harassment allegations that forced Cuomo's resignation as governor.
Describing these allegations as entirely political.
Cuomo fired back.
Fully litigated for 4 years, the cases were dropped.
Sliwa accused both men of fighting like kids in a schoolyard. I'm Donna Warder.
Tropical storm Melissa lumbering through the Caribbean Sea, bringing a risk of dangerous landslides and life-threatening flooding to Jamaica and southern Hispaniola. Melissa forecast to move gradually in the coming few days. Could be a hurricane by Friday. News and analysis, townhall.com. Strange bedfellows indeed.
Prince Harry and Meghan have joined a diverse group, including Steve Bannon and Glenn Beck, to call for a ban on AI superintelligence that threatens humanity. Released Wednesday, their joint letter targets tech giants like Google, Meta, and OpenAI. It urges a prohibition on developing superintelligence until safety and public consensus are assured. The letter highlights concerns about AI's potential risks, including economic disruption and security threats. Keith Peters, Washington.
Tragedy has befallen the family of the Illinois Republican gubernatorial candidate. Helicopter crash in Montana. It has claimed the life of Darren Bailey's son, Zachary, along with a daughter-in-law and 2 grandchildren. The crash announced this morning by Bailey and his wife, Cindy, in a post to social media. More on these stories, townhall.com.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are joined now on our Zoom Newsmaker line by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, Tom Pappert. Good morning, Tom.
Good morning, Michael.
A big story broke yesterday. Tell us about it. Senator Marsha Blackburn is going to take the Department of Justice and former FBI officials to court for violating her First Amendment rights and her Fourth Amendment rights when they illegally obtained her phone records. I think it's a very good thing. Tell us the details on this, Tom.
Well, Marsha Blackburn, senator from Tennessee and gubernatorial candidate, announced the lawsuit yesterday to Just the News. She said she intends to sue former special counsel Jack Smith and a former team at the FBI, as well as other Biden-era DOJ officials, after it came out earlier this month that the Biden DOJ, specifically Jack Smith, ordered the FBI to spy on her, essentially to get her telecom information, as well as that of 8 other senators who were all Republicans and who all supported President Donald Trump during his contest of the 2020 election results. Marsha Blackburn, of course, was part of the effort to decertify and re-examine the votes on January 6th before the riot sent everything off course. And it seems as though According to her interview yesterday, she now has been briefed that Jack Smith actually ordered this surveillance of her and the other senators before President Trump was ever indicted. In fact, several months before. So this has been a fast-moving story, Michael. Of course, Senator Blackburn earlier this month called for a reckoning against the telecom companies who apparently just totally complied with these subpoenas without even batting an eyelash. She's also called for a congressional investigation into how this occurred, and now she seems to be coming after the people who did it individually. I certainly hope that we see a lawsuit filed against Jack Smith in the Middle District of Tennessee.
Yeah, it sounds interesting. Now, Ted Cruz had something to say. Apparently, Jack Smith wanted to get his phone records as well. But when he brought his subpoena that he obtained illegally, I think, to his telecom provider, AT&T, AT&T told him to go pound salt. How about that?
And it is interesting why Ted Cruz would get that support from the telecom company when it was AT&T and Verizon who gave up this information for the other lawmakers. The only thing that I can think, and this is not to denigrate Ted Cruz at all, this shouldn't have happened to anybody, but maybe his reputation at the time as a warrior against big tech gave this big tech company pause, whereas Marsha Blackburn had not yet created the Kids Online Safety Act, so maybe she was an easier target.
Yeah, that's weird. That were her phone records with AT&T or Verizon, or which
I think hers were with Verizon,
okay.
But some of the other senators were with AT&T.
Yeah. Very interesting. Now, Jack Smith, his lawyers have come out and said, what we did was entirely proper. I don't see that as entirely proper, Tom. I mean, here you have, think about this. You have a sitting member of Congress, and you are going to, you're looking into, they hadn't even charged Trump on these, made up charges with regards to challenging. He certainly has a right to challenge the election results. But it's just hard to imagine what the argument was made to the grand jury by the FBI and the Department of Justice to obtain the warrant to get these records. I just don't. What was the reasoning? Do we have any clue? They said it was proper. It sounds entirely improper to me.
Well, we have no clue, but in order to kind of imagine some idea, I think we have to go back to what was happening at the time. And at the time, the Democrats, the media, the Department of Justice, they were all marching in lockstep under the pretense, the claim that to even question the election results in 2020 is something close to treason. And so the fact that these senators were likely involved in high-level discussions about what happens on January 6th. Should we certify these votes from the 6 states that are suspect? What do we do? It seems to me that that alone in Jack Smith's mind was or could have been evidence of a crime. But when you look at what these senators were actually doing, it's completely protected, at least in my opinion, by the U.S. Constitution. Of course, you have the First Amendment, which they were engaged in via their communications, private communications, by the way. The Fourth Amendment, they had their privacy violated by the federal government, didn't find out about it for years. But then also congressmen benefit from the speech and debate clause of the Constitution, where they're allowed to engage in political discussions that may veer into uncharted territory without facing arrest. There's also separation of powers. You have the judiciary attacking the legislature here, which is insane. And then, of course, there's the Stored Communications Act. These were all things brought up by Blackburn as possible points for this lawsuit. I don't think Jack Smith or his associates have any answer to any of this, Michael.
Yeah, the speech and debate clause is pretty obvious, right? I mean, if you're involved clearly on the floor of the House, right, you're protected. But in this instance, let me tell you where this would fit, in my view, in the speech and debate clause. The role of Congress in basically certifying the results of the Electoral College, right? It's right there in the Constitution. That's one of their jobs. And as you may recall, Senator Blackburn and about 10 other senators, Republicans, wrote a public letter on January 3rd in which they said, we think at this moment right now, there is good reason to send back these electors to the 6 battleground states where the electoral practices are in question. The way the Constitution works is it's the state legislatures, right, that affirm the electors. Now, interestingly enough, because we went back and looked at all of these states, including Georgia, which we documented all of the lack of a chain of custody in all these drop boxes. It's like 600,000 that didn't have a chain of custody. I mean, we documented this extensively. The little weird element of it, because of COVID, the state legislature in Georgia was not in session. And it would have required the governor of Georgia, Brian Kemp, to call them back into session. I remember this. And we thought, okay, let's hold a special session, Governor Kemp. He wouldn't do it. But, if you had received that 10-day reprieve, and as you may recall, this was a really terrific idea that came from Ted Cruz and was the kind of thing that was supported by those 10 senators who wrote the letter, said that they, at present, didn't, on January 3rd, they said, we just think there's too many questions about these battleground states, and we are not going to accept them. That was on January 3rd, right? Remember that. And Marsha Blackburn signed it. Bill Hagerty signed it. Come January 6th, right, when you had the riot, in the end, both Marsha Blackburn and Bill Hagerty went ahead and accepted them. Now, behind the curtain, there was a lot going on. I remember talking to Bill Hagerty and saying, Bill, why did you not send those back? And he said, and he told me here on this program, he said, well, circumstances changed with the J6 riot. And I think that was similar to Marsha Blackburn's thinking on this. Stick around. There's more to talk about on this. Where does this go, Tom Pappert? Back after this.
Let's be real. Losing weight isn't just about looking good. It's about taking back control of your overall health. 42% of adults in America are classified as obese, and obesity is directly linked to severe health issues. If you've tried diets and different workouts with no success, it's not your fault. Big Food and Big Pharma have rigged the system against you with contradicting information, leaving you confused. But there's good news. The wellness company just launched Drop, a GLP-1 peptide oral drop formula developed by their chief medical board, specifically designed to support your metabolism, curb cravings, and help you shed weight. That's right. No injections, no risk of the severe side effects we're seeing with the Ozempic. Start your weight loss journey today and get $100 off, plus free shipping. Go to twc.health/Godzilla and use promo code Godzilla100. That's twc.health/Godzilla. Promo code Godzilla100. Take action today for a healthier tomorrow.
The words you are about to hear are taken from an actual text conversation between Jay Jones and another state delegate.
I'll go to their funerals to piss on their graves.
Jay Jones.
2 bullets? Gilbert gets 2 bullets to the head.
Jay, please stop.
Okay.
It really bothers me when you talk about hurting people or wishing death on them. You were talking about hoping Jennifer Gilbert's children would die.
Yes, I've told you this before. Only when people feel pain personally do they move on policy.
Jay Jones hoped children could die to advance his political agenda. Jay Jones admits these are his words. Look it up in the Washington Post. Jay Jones wished violence on his opponent's children. So how could we trust him to protect our children? Jay Jones should never be Attorney General.
I'm Jason Miyares, candidate for Attorney General, and this ad was sponsored by Miyares for Virginia.
For Virginia to grow and thrive, Governor Youngkin declared,
"We have to protect right to work."
Nearly 80% of Virginians agree. So does Winsome Earl Sears. But Abigail Spanberger thinks Virginians should have to pay union bosses just to get or keep their jobs. In fact, Spanberger voted twice in Congress to wipe out every state's right to work law nationwide. Demand she defend worker choice and support right to work. Call Abigail Spanberger, 804-223-0770. Paid for by the National Right to Work Committee.
Is your pet ready for some possum fun? At Creekside Pet Hotel in Kennesaw, every day is a tail-wagging adventure. Whether they're romping with friends in day camp, enjoying a staycation in our cozy boarding, or getting pampered in our luxury spa, we make sure every furry guest gets the royal treatment. Happy pets, wagging tails, and the best care. What more could they ask for? Book your pet's perfect getaway today at creeksidepethotel.com or give us a call at 770-422-4700.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
I'm Chanel Sheeran, and I'm honored to share a special invitation on behalf of Senator Mark Pody. Mark would like to personally invite you to his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Go to markpody.com. This is a time to gather as neighbors, celebrate our values, look ahead to all God has in store for our future together. We're also excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director in Washington, D.C. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith at the center of everything he does. He stands firmly for faith, family, and freedom, supporting our schools, teachers, protecting our children, and community safety. So bring your friends, your family, and your faith, and come celebrate with us on October 25th. Together, through our diligence and prayer, we can keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative, Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. We are joined on our Zoom Newsmaker line right now by our lead political reporter at the Tennessee Star and the Star News Network, Tom Pappert. Tom, I guess we have kind of 3 unanswered questions here, maybe more, but here are the 3 that comes to mind. Number 1, who will be the attorneys representing Senator Blackburn? Number 2, when will this suit be filed? And then number 3, in what venue will the suit be filed? Let me go back from the last question to the first. Venue. It seems to me that there are 2 possible venues. One would be a federal district court in Washington, D.C., because this is, of course, a federal question. Actually, multiple constitutional questions. First Amendment, Fourth Amendment, the speech and debate clause, separation of powers. I mean, it is a federal question panoply, right? And so this would then it'd be federal court, not state court, it seems to me. In terms of the venue, there are 2 venues, and tell me the pluses and minuses of each. The District of Columbia, where Congress meets, of course, and the Middle District of Tennessee, which is Nashville and the surrounding counties where of which Senator Blackburn is a resident. What are your thoughts on those two venues?
Well, Michael, I would actually argue there might be two more to consider, but starting with these two, obviously the District of Columbia.
Well, hold it.
Wait.
Now, that's good. I like this. Two other districts, two other venues to consider. Let's hear those venues first, and then we'll go into your analysis.
Well,
see, this is why we have you on, right? Nobody else would have
it depends. The first option that I think, it depends on how much of the FBI activity happened in, say, Quantico, Virginia, which would be in the Eastern District of Virginia. That's where both the charges against Letitia James and James Comey are out of. So it's a tenuous argument. It depends how much of the FBI actions happened there. A judge might not go with it. They might transfer it to the District of Columbia. The same argument, however, I think would apply to the District of New Jersey. That's where Verizon's headquarters is. That's where their compliance with this FBI subpoena from Jack Smith, that's where they complied with it. So there could even be an argument for New Jersey. But now, to your point, Michael, you brought up the District of Columbia. That's where most of these acts possibly occurred. Again, it depends on how much happened to Quantico, but we know that Jack Smith's special counsel was based out of Washington, D.C. The problem with that, of course, is you have all of these captured far-left activist judges combined with a jury pool that is 95+% Democrat. So it's just... I don't see that working favorably for the senator. Now, of course, the Middle District of Tennessee, that's where Blackburn would have suffered the impact of these allegedly illegal activities that she is putting in her lawsuit. So I think she would have a good case to file in the Middle District of Tennessee. Of course, that would preclude the other senators from joining her in the same legal action, as would, frankly, any lawsuit filed in New Jersey, because, again, some of these senators had AT&T, some of them had Verizon.
That's a good point. But hey, the more lawsuits, the better, I say. So, okay. So that would be venue. I think you're right. I think the best venue would be the Middle District of Tennessee. Now, having said that, do we know who is representing her? Do we know who her attorneys are?
You know, it's very interesting, Michael, because we know based on her remarks that she has retained attorneys, but she has yet to announce a law firm. I think we might be able to go back and look at some of the groups that have worked with Blackburn in the past to get an idea, but I also have a hunch that as this broke in the news, I wouldn't be surprised if some conservative heavy hitters are not beating down the doors of these senators and offering their representation.
Yeah, I mean, this is pure speculation, but there are private firms that could do it, and then there are public interest law firms. And so, could be America First Legal might be one. We know them. They've represented us in state court and continue to represent us in state court on the issue of the basically the public records lawsuit that we filed against Metro Nashville government in order to obtain the Covenant Killer Manifesto. By the way, we lost in trial court. The appeals court, oral arguments will be heard on October 30th. Now, you could argue that some elements of that are no longer appropriate, or some elements of that lawsuit could be moot because the FBI in our federal lawsuit, which was brought in the Middle District of Tennessee and where we were represented by the Wisconsin Institute of Law and Liberty, we've received from the FBI about 75-80% of the 2,000 pages that constitute the Covenant Killer Manifesto, right? So, but my point is, the groups that could represent her, not just high-end attorneys in private practice, but America First Legal, other public interest law firms, I think would be very, very interested in doing it. Now, and having said that, when do we think such a lawsuit will be filed?
Now, that is the hanging chad of this conversation. Blackburn has kind of left this out in the open. The way she was speaking yesterday, Michael, led me to believe that this is an imminent lawsuit. It's going to be filed in the very near future, and it's going to be a very public ordeal. I also think that just in terms of the sheer politics, Blackburn announced this lawsuit, of course, a little more than a year before her gubernatorial campaign for the 2026 midterms. If this lawsuit is filed quickly, I think she might be able to get some sort of victory before this time next year, as the Justice Department, of course, is no longer in Democratic hands. I think it would behoove her to file sooner than later.
I think you're right about that, Tom. Now, in the lawsuit, does she intend to file a lawsuit against Verizon, her telecommunication provider, who chose not to fight the warrant? They should have fought the warrant. They didn't, and they complied with the FBI request.
It seems as though Blackburn certainly is not happy with Verizon, but the lawsuit that she mentioned yesterday was solely focused on former Biden officials. That's Jack Smith, his counterparts at the DOJ, and the CR-15 team at the FBI, which has since been fired by Kash Patel, but was nonetheless part of this operation. Now, when it comes to Verizon and AT&T, I believe she's called for a congressional hearing for these telecom companies, these big tech companies, essentially, to explain themselves before Congress in light of this, pretty clear evidence that they were doing whatever the Biden administration and the Biden Department of Justice wanted for a good 4 years.
So there could be hearings, and she's on the Judiciary Committee, right?
Right.
I think it would fit in their venue. Chuck Grassley brought this up. So in theory, she could have the CEO of her provider, Verizon, and she could question in hearing before a lawsuit would happen against Verizon. She could ask, why did you choose to violate my First Amendment and Fourth Amendment rights, Mr. CEO of Verizon? I'd pay money for that, to watch that, wouldn't you?
It would be very interesting to see the response and see if they, what my guess is, what they would say is, well, we had the Biden FBI breathing down our neck, and they had just arrested 2,000 Americans for walking around the Capitol on January 6th. So we were a little bit scared, Senator
We were intimidated. But really, they complied without taking the possible next legal step, which is to go to court and say you can't do this. So they kind of, gave up pretty quickly. Tom Pappert, outstanding reporting. And anything breaks on this, let us know.
Will do. Thank you, Michael.
All right, Tom Pappert. That's a great report. I bet fascinating. All right, well, more when we get back. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy.
Folks, this is Crime Carmichael, CEO of Solti. I have recently turned 77 years old. I do not take prescription drugs. I have not had to take prescription drugs, and I attribute a lot of my good health to a product that I've been taking, which is the active ingredient in Solti. It's a 22% concentration of theaflavin. We did clinical trials on it 25 years ago and found that it helped lower cholesterol. We have had many, many hundreds of letters and emails from customers telling us how it has helped them not only manage their cholesterol, but lower their triglycerides and help them on their blood pressure. And I can't tell you how much I attribute to Solti for my good health at age 77. And I encourage you to go to GodzillaHeart.com. That's GodzillaHeart.com. And use the code Godzilla at checkout, and you'll get a 50% off on your initial shipment of Solti. And I promise you it will be a great help for your heart health. Thanks so much.
Is your fur baby looking a bit rough? Transform them from shaggy to snazzy with Befur and After Pet Grooming in Marietta, Georgia. Their top-notch groomers pamper your pups with baths, custom cuts, and nail trims that'll have them strutting like show dogs. From mobile grooming vans to their cozy salon, they'll make your pet spa day a tail-wagging blast. Book now at BefurandAfterGrooming.com. Befur and After, where pets go from grr to glamorous.
Why is Purple Wave Auction the fastest growing heavy equipment marketplace? Our full-service online auctions take the hassle out of buying and selling farm, construction, and fleet equipment. Thousands of business owners partner with Purple Wave each month to manage their equipment. Sellers count on our experienced professionals to handle the marketing, paperwork, and payments. And bidders trust in a marketplace free of reserves and hidden fees. Purple Wave is the turnkey online auction service you've been looking for. Purple Wave Auction. Straight, simple, sold.
All active duty military, first responders, and veterans. You served our country and our communities. Now it's our turn to serve you. If you're suffering from chronic joint pain in your knees, hips, shoulders, wherever, QC Kinetics would like to offer you an exclusive discount off your entire treatment of our groundbreaking regenerative therapy. As the nation's leader in joint pain relief, we've helped thousands break free from their joint pain and get back to living. Our treatment revitalizes damaged tissue with no surgery, no drugs, and no downtime. To claim your veterans discount, call QC Kinetics today, 757-540-2243. Get the help you need to keep moving, keep working, and keep living life without being sidelined. And even if you're not military or a first responder, you can still get a free consultation today. Don't let joint pain keep you from the life you love. Call today, 757-540-2243. 757-540-2243.
My fellow Americans, I was this close, very close, to buying from the lumber yards. These are sick people. But I turned my head at the last second, and I saw a big, beautiful ad for D.T. McCall's. These are highly respected people. If I had not turned my head at the last second, I would have been ripped off at some lumber yard for $200 in hidden charges, and D.T. McCall & Sons are never going to do that. They'd never do that to you. These are great people. I've known them for a long time. They have great deals, and I just have to say, nobody knows deals like I do. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. These are tremendous people. D.T. McCall & Sons. Check out one of their stores today.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. If you want to call us, our number is 615-814-2848. 615-814-2848. Just tell us three things. Number one, your name. Number two, the state in which you reside. And number three, your topic. We really don't need more than that. We don't really want more than that, right? Because whatever important thing you want to say, it can't be heard by our listening audience if you're just talking with our producer. No, you must get past our producer and get to me. And the way to do that is to say, one, your name, two, your state of residence, and your topic. Number three, 615-814-2848, 615-814-2848. Also, you can, if you'd like, you can watch us on X Live. Just go to my X account, Michael P. Leahy. And we're on YouTube now. We're on YouTube. We're on Roku TV and Fire Stick. So you can watch us all there. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about where we are with the government shutdown, day 23. Now, just as a reminder, the way all this works, because back in the Neolithic era, I worked as in the federal government, 1978 to 1979, as a budget analyst within the Environmental Protection Agency. And I know at least what the budget process was like then. There is a fiscal year, a financial year, beginning period and ending period, that for the federal government. And it ends on September 30th, 2025, this fiscal year. And so right now we're past that fiscal year. We're 23 days past it. Money has to be authorized and appropriated to be spent legally. And that has to be authorized and appropriated by bills passed into law by Congress, both the Senate and the House, and then signed into law by the President. Well, what happened is, and the budget process has been as close to a disaster as you can imagine. It's been a disaster for nigh on 30 years. There's a process called regular order, and I think it's been 30 years since we've used regular order in Congress on the budget process. What is regular order and why didn't it happen? Regular order is when you have authorizations and appropriations that go through subcommittees on particular topics, and you fight it out there, and then when that passes, you go to the bigger committee, and then when that passes, you put them all these together. I think there are like 12 areas where you put it, and you pass each one of them separately, and then you have a budget. Okay. Well, we don't have that anymore. I mean, we should. That's the way this is designed, but what happens is you get these omnibus bills, which have, 3,000 pages, and they put all sorts of junk in it, and they delivered under Democrats. They would deliver these omnibus bills 3 hours before you had to vote, and then you'd have to vote up or down. Well, you'd have no ability to understand what's all in there. If you went through regular order, you could have confidence that the committees had kind of vetted these things before you voted. Okay, so we have a budget. We weren't able to get all of the appropriations committees passed in time for the September 30th deadline. And as a result, there's been a practice called a continuing resolution. And that's a law which says, that budget we had last year, until we can cut a deal for this year going forward, we're going to extend that budget price, that level of expenditure for the next 60 days. So the House passed such a bill, a clean continuing resolution, is how they describe it. They sent it to the Senate, and because of the peculiarities of the Senate and the filibuster rule, you have to have 60 votes to pass it. Well, guess what? There are 53 Republicans in the Senate and 47 senators who caucus with the Democrats. What does that mean? There's 45 Democrats, and then Bernie Sanders from Vermont, independent, and Angus King, independent, from Maine, and they caucus with the Democrats. Okay. So the Democrats would not accept the continuing resolution. And so they haven't gotten 60 votes. And so because of that, the government's been, quote, shut down. What does that mean? Well, it means that some things are paid and some things aren't. What's not paid is military salaries. Asterisk. The pay periods are October 15th and November 1st coming up. They were able to move some money around, so they paid the troops on October 15th. I don't know how long they'll be able to do that. But there are other things that go on, like air traffic controllers. Well, air traffic controllers are not currently being paid. Asterisk. When the budget is finally passed, right, they make up for that, and the air traffic controllers get paid. So it's like they're just, working ahead so that at one point in time, when this passes, that they'll get back pay. All right. Now, the Democrats, they don't really seem to care about this. They look at it as a leverage point. So here we are, day 23. A member of the House of Representatives I think her name is Kathleen Clark. I think she's from Massachusetts. Admitted the obvious about what the Democrat game is here right now. Let's play this. Clip 13.
Political dividends, even if there's pain involved. No responsibility on the Democrats, or at least you don't think that the public will perceive that the Democrats are responsible.
I mean, shutdowns are terrible, and of course there will be, families that are going to suffer. We take that responsibility very seriously, but it is one of the few leveraged times we have.
The White House jumped on Clark's comments. Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt posted this to X. Democrats are now admitting that they are intentionally causing American families to suffer. Leavitt then wrote, quote, "What is wrong with them? Republicans worry about federal workers off the job."
The fact that we have furloughed federal employees that aren't getting paid, clearly the evidence shows that they don't really care about federal employees.
Now the Senate takes a test vote tomorrow on a bill to pay essential workers. Republicans want to get Democrats on the record as voting for or against those who are working without a paycheck. John?
Okay, so that test vote is going to happen today. That was a report from yesterday. And it's really interesting. The Democrats seem to think that this is working for them, generating the outrage machine. The things that they want to accomplish are in the budget. Taken out of the budget was $500 million to support public broadcasting. And taken out of the budget was health care for illegal aliens. I know there's twists and turns on it, but that's kind of the bottom line on it. That was all taken out of the budget. Okay. And but they want it back. They also want subsidies for Obamacare that will expire at the end of December back. I'm checking the calendar right now. It's not the end of December. This is what they're doing. How reckless are they to go for these long-term political games when, military might not be paid on November 1st? That's very dangerous. And then you've got all the various, folks with food stamps and SNAP that are saying, we don't get our SNAP, we'll go and steal it from grocery stores. They're pushing. What the Democrats really want here is a complete societal breakdown. That's really what they want. They don't really care about anything else. They want power. There's one sane Democrat in the Senate. His name is John Fetterman, and he dresses goofy. He looks goofy. He had a stroke, but he's got common sense. Here we go.
I don't know why, and I've always refused to say that. And when then the Vice President Harris referred to President Trump as a fascist, and I knew absolutely we lost the plot at that point. If you call the president or someone like a fascist, you're effectively calling the people that are going to vote for him, and then they must be fascists too, or they support fascism and those things, and that's just not true. That's just not it. I happen to know, and I love a lot of people that voted for the president, and they're not fascists, they're not Nazis, they're not trying to destroy the Constitution and all those things. They just happen to have a different priorities, and they love our country in the same ways that Democrats do as well. So I refuse to do those kinds of a thing, because that kind of extreme kinds of rhetoric makes it easier for those kinds of extreme kinds of actions, even like what happened to poor Charlie Kirk and that. And now why you can't allow people to grieve and now use that an opportunity to criticize or to turn it into something. It's like, it's just basic humanity there. And like, we're forgetting that we need each other. We need each other here. And now I refuse to be a part of it and comparing people to Hitler and those things, because if that's what's required to win, then I refuse to.
Yeah, the guy makes sense. He's got good common sense, and he's one of the three senators who caucus with the Democrats, who's consistently voted in favor of the continuing resolution. We'll have more on this when we get back. This is the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, the website, TennesseeStar.com. Back after this.
Hey folks, Al Green here for SatPhone. When you're on the go, you want to know you're connected. If it's a family vacation or an off-the-grid escape to a remote destination, having reliable communication helps you feel safe and secure. You can't afford to find yourself in a dead zone. That's why you need SatPhone. SatPhones are reliable, durable, and give you global coverage. If you can get outside, you can get in touch. It's that simple. Make calls from your SatPhone to any regular cell phone in the United States. The phones are $1,500 value, but you can get yours free. Just sign up for a 15-month plan, $94.95 a month. Get 150 minutes monthly that roll to the next month. Go 3 months without using them, that's fine. Yes, 3 months, 450 minutes, all yours. Visit SAT123.com or call 855-980-5830. SAT123.com, 855-980-5830. Get surety and security with your SatPhone. Call now.
Did you ever stop and think, why do the wealthy pay less taxes than we do? One reason, they take full advantage of the IRS tax code. Today's tax code is over 2 million pages. Who can read that? Remember the 2016 debate with Hillary Clinton? When asked why he doesn't pay more taxes, President Trump had the perfect answer. He said, if you don't like the current tax code, change it. I follow the very laws that you wrote. That's where Julio Gonzalez and his company, Tax Engineered Services, comes in. Julio's team looks at your taxes after they're done, but before you file them with the IRS. He doesn't get between you and your accountant. He reviews your taxes, makes his recommendations, and only gets 5 to 10% of what he saved you. No money up front, no cost. It's tax literacy for MAGA. He also sees what grants you may qualify for. For more information, text ETS to the number 26786. That's ETS to 26786. Text now.
I'm Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Executive Director of the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund, and this is a Live Free Minute. Just this month, an illegal immigrant in Virginia was convicted of raping an 11-year-old girl after breaking into her home. On any given day, there are hundreds of illegal immigrants in Virginia jails who have committed violent crimes. Yet there are politicians who openly advocate for protecting these criminal illegal immigrants and who wish to make Virginia a sanctuary for them. Our constitutional republic is dependent on adherence to the rule of law. Our founders could not have imagined that there would be politicians who would be so bold as to campaign against it. I encourage you to vote this election to protect public safety and the rule of law. This Live Free Minute is sponsored by the American Constitutional Rights Union Action Fund. We empower Americans to live free. And for more information, go to acruaction.com.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com, listen to Michael Patrick Leahy, and make America great again.
Chenille Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We've got time for one call here, 615-814-2848. 615-814-2848 if you want to call in. We need 1, your name, 2, your state of residence, and 3, your topic. I want to continue a little bit with the shutdown, which just illustrates to you how unserious the Democrats in Congress are about actually getting this job done. This is all about their attempt to destabilize the country. That's really where they're ending up trying to go. And to just show how ridiculous they are, Senator Tim Sheehy from Montana has this funny little video he put out talking about what the Democrats are doing as they are stalling the vote and opposing getting the government back open. Let's go clip 19.
So 2 a.m. here, leaving the Capitol. We're listening to floor speeches from Democrats who have closed the government, and they're forcing Capitol Hill staff to sit in here all night and listen to them read poetry while they're not getting paid. So not only are they now closing the government, but now they're forcing our Capitol Hill workers, our police who keep us safe, all of the pages on the floor to stay up all night listening to them read poetry because they think it's funny, because they want to make a statement. So not only are they not paying the government, now is the government closed, they are forcing all these good people in this building to stay up all night and listen to them read poetry. That's how ridiculous this shutdown has become. That's how ridiculous the stupid Schumer shutdown is. This is ridiculous. Let's get back to work. Open the government.
I like that phrase, the stupid Schumer shutdown. Yeah, it really is. And it's interesting how the Democrats just are not responding to common sense right now. I think they are bereft of it. They've been singing the same tune for many, many years. Let me give you an example of how they've been singing the same tune. Now, he claims to be an independent. He's really a Democrat. He caucuses with the Democrats. He's been able to, over time, move the Democrats towards his basically neo-Marxist view of the world. I'm talking about Senator Bernie Sanders from Vermont, who he's been warning about the onset of an oligarchy in the United States since, 1993. Really? We've got the worst of Bernies here. And we'll play this right now so you can see him talking about how the United States is becoming an oligarchy. And we'll see the years in which he'll do it. Let's start that clip right now.
This great country of ours is moving very rapidly in the direction of oligarchy. The United States of America today is increasingly becoming an oligarchy. More and more moving toward an oligarchy. We are moving in the direction of oligarchy. We will move even more rapidly in the direction of an oligarchy. This great country is evolving into an oligarchic society. It is called oligarchy, and that is the system we are rapidly moving toward. This is a budget that moves our country rapidly into the direction of oligarchy. A handful of billionaires are moving this entire planet toward an oligarchic society.
Start off with the bad news.
Okay, so let's hear this. I wrote down the dates of this. So we've got 1993, 2000, 2006, 2010, 2012, 2013, 14, 16, 25, 19. Ed from Pennsylvania wants to weigh in on this. Ed, thanks for calling us.
Hey, so I just had a thought that I think the Democrats are walking into a very cunningly laid trap by the administration on the shutdown. I think what's going to happen here is the Supreme Court is going to make a ruling here in the next couple of days, allowing Trump to deploy the National Guard into Chicago. And if you think things are bad now and it's crazy, wait until the food stamps stop on November the 1st. The Democrats are not going to reopen the government because they want the food stamps to cause trouble. They want to incite their base because let's face it, most of the people that are probably on food stamps are Democrats or immigrants. They're going to wait for the food stamps to run out on November the 1st. They'll incite their base, which is already happening all over social media, to cause trouble throughout the cities all across the country. And that will give Trump and the administration the perfect excuse to deploy National Guard to all the Democrat cities that they want to do already. And there won't be a thing the Democrats can do about it. And they're walking into a cunningly laid trap.
Ed, let me ask you this, because I've seen those clips of people, I don't know if they're all real, but they claim to be food stamp recipients, and they say, if I don't get my food stamps on November 1st, I'm walking into the grocery store, and I'm going to beat up people, and I'm going to take all the food I want.
Well, let's face it. Yeah, because, I mean, let's face it. You're talking about 42 million people on food stamps. It's one thing for the government to be shut down, and let's face it, the general public don't really feel the effects of that for the most part. But when you take food off of people's table, and that might be the only way they get food, there's going to be trouble.
Do you think that's really the Democrats' plan, is to create that trouble?
Let's face it, they've done nothing but try to create chaos and division for the last 4, 5, 6 years. So, well, I mean, in a way, we're handing them the opportunity to create that trouble. But I think Trump already has that plan in place to use that then as an excuse.
An outstanding call, demonstrating once again how great our listeners are. Thanks, Ed, for that. Really, call back again. Back with Aaron Gomerson after this.
This season, legendary coach Bill Belichick brings his championship pedigree to the North Carolina Tar Heels sideline, and WJFN brings Tar Heels football to Richmond.
They've had a bunch of plays down here inside that 5-yard line. They've all been runs.
This one's going to be another one, Hampton, and he's going to score.
Hear every play as UNC looks to rise in the ACC standings and national prominence, plus pregame and postgame coverage. Get the full UNC schedule at WJFNradio.com, your home for Tar Heels football action.
It really angers me to hear these lies.
Lies? It was Abigail Spanberger who voted to let boys share locker rooms with little girls. It was Spanberger who voted to let children change genders without telling their parents.
It really angers me to hear these lies.
The truth? Abigail Spanberger will transform Virginia. She's angry because she's lying. As governor, Winsome Earl Sears will always put parents first. And she'll never bend to the transgender hysteria being whipped up by Spanberger and her woke Washington posse. Abigail Spanberger is angry because Virginians are tired of having the trans agenda ruining kids' lives, and they're pushing back. They know Winsome will always lead with common sense and actually protect our children. Spanberger is angry because she knows that too. Early voting begins September 19th, so get out and vote for Winsome Earl Sears for governor.
I'm Winsome Earl Sears, candidate for governor, and I sponsored this ad.
John Fredericks loves his radio and TV audience, but did you know how to follow the Godzilla of Truth wherever you go? Download the John Fredericks Radio Show app to listen live nationwide. For the daily chit-chat, Trucking the Truth, download the Getter app and join the morning fun on Getter Live from 6 to 10 a.m. Follow John Fredericks on Getter, Truth Social, or Twitter at JF Radio.
This is WJFN, Goochland, Bonaire, Chester, and WJFV, Portsmouth.
Breaking news at Town Hall. I'm Bob Agnew in Washington. A gigantic story in the world of sports. Portland Trailblazers head coach Chauncey Billups and Miami Heat guard Terry Rozier been arrested in connection with a federal investigation into illegal sports betting, but it goes far broader and deeper, according to FBI Director Kash Patel.
Not only did we crack into the fraud that these perpetrators committed on the grand stage of the NBA, but we also entered and executed a system of justice against La Cosa Nostra to include the Bonanno, Gambino, Genovese, and Lucchese crime families.
In all, more than 30 people are involved in the current indictments. Secretary of State Marco Rubio traveling to Israel to ride diplomatic shotgun on the U.S.-brokered ceasefire.
It's important, in particular, over the next couple of weeks that we keep the ceasefire together.
And more details on the progress from the BBC's Yolanda Nell.
As Washington tries to shore up the fragile Gaza ceasefire, the top U.S. diplomat will be arriving in Israel hot on the heels of the Vice President J.D. Vance and 2 special envoys. In an apparent attempt to embarrass the Prime Minister during their visits, on Wednesday, far-right symbolic step of giving preliminary approval to a bill that would give Israel authority to annex the West Bank, a move opposed by the U.S. Before leaving on his trip, the Secretary of State said annexation would be counterproductive and threatening.
That is BBC's Yolanda Nell. Existing home sales saw a surge last month as declining mortgage rates and a pickup in available properties encourage home shoppers to get out and spend their money. The National Association of Realtors says used home sales were up 1.5% compared to August. Stocks faring better today on Wall Street. The Dow right now is up by about 35 points. The Nasdaq up by 163. More on these stories at townhall.com.
We all hear the radio ads about the IRS. They tell you to be afraid, to be scared, and they try to frighten you into calling. I'm not here to do that. Tax Relief Advocates is different. TRA is here to tell you that if you owe money to the IRS, whether it's $5,000, $50,000, or $500,000, we have a solution. It doesn't matter if you're sitting in your car, at work, or with your kids. No matter where you are, call now. 800-583-0141. Don't lose hope. TRA can eliminate or reduce what you owe to the IRS. Generous programs are now available that can give you a fresh start. Our passion is taxes and helping individuals fix their IRS problems. We have over 1,000 5-star reviews on Google and an A+ with the Better Business Bureau. You don't need to be afraid of the IRS any longer. End your tax nightmare today by visiting us online at TRA.com or call 800-583-0141. That's 800-583-0141. Tax Relief Advocates. Real solutions for real people.
Here's Rich Thomason with the Midday Wall Street Business Report.
Tesla reports selling more of its electric vehicles in the past 3 months after politically motivated boycotts hit hard earlier this year, but Tesla's profits still fell sharply. Third quarter earnings dropped to $1.4 billion from $2.2 billion a year ago. Tesla's shares slid more than 3% pre-market. Union Pacific delivered 7% growth in its third quarter earnings, and its CEO continues to make the case for the acquisition of one of the railroad's rivals in the East. Oil prices are on the rise. U.S. benchmark crude gained $3.13 to $61.63 per barrel. Brent crude, which is the international standard, rose $3.13 as well to $65.72 per barrel. I'm Rich Thomason.
Breaking news and analysis at townhall.com. FCC Chairman Brendan Carr says that broadcast licenses are not guaranteed and can be revoked if broadcasters fail to serve the public interest.
This goes back to the Communications Act of 1934, where Congress decided to give broadcasters originally valuable spectrum, a public resource, for free, but they did so in exchange for one thing, which is that broadcasters operate in the public interest, not in a narrow interest.
And Carr made his comments in an interview with the Salem Radio Network. That tension was highlighted recently in the Jimmy Kimmel saga. His show was temporarily suspended due to controversy swirling around comments he made about the assassination of conservative activist Charlie Kirk. Some local ABC affiliates had threatened to pull the show if Kimmel was not held accountable for his remarks. His show was later reinstated. You'll find more of these stories at townhall.com. From Washington, I'm Bob Agnew.
It's the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, broadcasting live from downtown Nashville. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
And welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. We are broadcasting live from our studios in Nashville, Tennessee. We are delighted to welcome to our microphones the official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Previously with the Tennessee Star, now the executive director of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition, the one, the only, Aaron Gulbitson. Hello, Aaron.
How are you?
Well, you know, it's an interesting period of time in American history. It's a transitional time, I think, because, you know, I think for, 250 years as an independent country, as opposition parties grew, there was a dialogue of sorts.
Mm-hmm.
Even before the Civil War, there was a dialogue of sorts between the leading parties. That is not the case anymore.
No, you have the Democrat Party that, the kindest way to put it is they represent an imaginary country and the woke states of America.
They represent the independent woke blue cities of America.
Yep.
And some of the independent blue states who have decided that federal immigration law does not apply to them.
Right. And you have the Republican Party, which represents the United States of America. So,
yeah.
You know, unfortunately, if people actually paid attention to what goes on in politics, you would see a massive supermajority for the Republican Party. But people were not as engaged. They'd rather spend too much time on Facebook not reading politics.
Yeah, I don't know what we call them. The woke neo-Marxists of North America.
I don't know. They're better. It's better than the wine-drinking women of Williamson County. So there's that.
Ooh. Well,
which is an actual crew of people. But anyway,
the bigger threat, I think, is the woke neo-Marxist of blue cities in America.
There you go. That's my controversial statement for the day. The biggest threat to Williamson County, Tennessee, is the wine-drinking women of Williamson County. Anyway.
So let us go and talk a little bit about what's going on in these blue cities and blue states right now and how insane they are.
I mean, you can take a nap for a year and the same thing would be going on, unfortunately.
Will it? Because what we've got going on now, let's take a look at the shutdown.
Yeah.
What we've got going on, this is now the second longest shutdown in American history.
Mm-hmm.
I think the longest was like 35 days, right?
Yes.
I don't see anything on the horizon on the Democrat side that says any of the Democrat senators are going to change their mind.
No, well, and that's the difference between the current Democrat Party and the previous Democrat Party. The Democrats, frankly, are so committed to their open borders policies and their Trump derangement syndrome that they do not see, even though there is a self-interested thing for them for them opening the government back up. They don't see it.
They do not see it.
They're not, Chuck Schumer is not thinking for the best interests of the American people. Certainly he never does, but he's not even thinking of the best interests of the Democrat Party, electorally speaking. Perhaps he's thinking about his own best interest, which is fending off a primary challenge from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez.
I think that ship has sailed in this regard. Let's think about it, right? Let's look at, now, New York City is different than New York State.
Yes.
But almost half the voters are in New York City. Almost.
Yeah.
Right.
Unfortunately.
But if you look at it, that ship of old liberal Democrats, that ship has sailed. They're not in New York City.
Yes.
Let's just talk New York City. When Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez defeated the incumbent, what was his name? Joe Crowley, the incumbent member of Congress, beat him pretty soundly, 56-44.
He was a member of leadership, too.
He was a member of leadership, but he was an old white guy who was a classic liberal Democrat. And the residents of New York City, they don't go for that anymore. One of the things to add on that's why the old, tired Andrew Cuomo, even though, maybe he got a shot of testosterone yesterday. I don't know. He was a little bit more engaged, but I think that it's too late.
Well, I think the New York City mayor's race is a perfect, at least symptom of what is going on. Here is a blue city where the front runner for mayor is a communist.
Mm-hmm.
And then the quote unquote sane choice at the moment is Andrew Cuomo.
Andrew, no cash bail.
Yeah.
Let's put all the COVID people in nursing homes and let them die.
You've got, basically the New York City mayor's race, and then you've got Curtis Sliwa in there showing a little bit of chaos. But, the New York City mayor's race is essentially the Leninites versus the Trotskyites. I mean, that's what
one
we're
way of putting it. Yeah. Yeah.
Google it if you don't know American history.
But here's the thing, and I talked about this history the other day. If you look at the breakdown, and it's particularly a problem in our cities, in our blue cities. The foreign-born population of New York City today is 36%. And like 60% of public housing in America, in New York City, is for foreign-born residents.
You're going to get called terrible names for pointing out the obvious there.
It's the obvious, though. And get back to why is it that the New York City mayoral race is, as you put it, a choice between a Trotskyite and a Leninite.
Yeah.
Yikes. That's pretty bad.
I mean, that's not the only place. I mean, look at the congressional race out there in Memphis right now. You've got far leftist Steve Cohen being challenged by one member of the Tennessee Three Morons, Justin Pearson, which again is another, Leninite versus Trotskyite, and mix in a little bit of Malcolm X in there.
You want a little bit of this is it. I would say performative Malcolm X. If you want a little factoid,
yeah.
In the spring of 2014, a graduating senior from Bowdoin College was a fellow by the name of Zoran Mamdani.
Yeah.
A freshman at Bowdoin College, Justin Pearson. So,
dear Lord.
I know. It's the Bowdoin College connection. The elite college in Maine that was once the hero of the Battle of Gettysburg. Joshua Chamberlain was a proud graduate and ultimately the president of Bowdoin College.
Of course, Justin Pearson had a far different persona when he was in college than he did today. You just go look back at the pictures and come to your own conclusions.
Back to the foreign-born thing in New York City. And I think this is the problem with a lot of our blue cities. And this is evidence to support the contention that there was a replacement theory. There was a desire to bring in immigrants legally and illegally to supplant those of us who'd been born in the United States. But here's the thing. Among American-born residents of New York City who are voting in the mayoral election, 40% are voting for Cuomo and 26% are voting for Mamdani.
Well,
I think it's 29%.
It's a cultural problem, and I can tell you, having grown up in New York City, that the immigrant cultures that were proud as the great-grandchild of immigrants, the cultures that appreciated coming to the United States the legal way, but as important, assimilating into the culture of the United States of America, gave positive contributions. The ones that refuse to assimilate are resulting in what we're seeing today, I bet, at least.
Among the 36% of voters in New York City who are foreign-born, 62% are going to vote for Mamdani and 25% for Cuomo and 12% for Sliwa. That's the problem there.
It's looking like Europe.
That's the problem. We'll be back with Aaron Gobleton after this.
Folks, John Fredericks here for Freedom Alliance. Veterans are still struggling with the wounds of war. They came home with injuries that changed them forever. The flag-burning troublemakers in our streets remind me how fortunate we are to have patriots who served and fought, sacrificed, and never complained. We need to support them through organizations like the Freedom Alliance. It's Military Appreciation Month and time to support those who serve. Freedom Alliance is caring for combat veterans and military families. Combat veterans fought in the worst, most dangerous places on earth. Freedom Alliance takes them to nature's most relaxing locations so they can heal. Freedom Alliance gives injured troops mortgage-free homes, new cars, and all-terrain wheelchairs. For wounded vets, there's nothing like the stability of your own home, the reinsurance of a reliable vehicle, or the independence of a wheelchair that navigates snow, ice, beach, pasture, or most any terrain. Let's fight for those who fought for us. Go to freedomalliance.org/Godzilla and make a monthly gift that will improve the life of a military hero. That's freedomalliance.org/Godzilla. Make a contribution today.
If you're like me, most moms find it difficult to prioritize self-care. Hi, it's Colleen, Program Director at the John Fredericks Media Network. With the demands of programming 13 radio stations, it's easy to forget about the things I should do for myself daily. And that's why I started with our company's Women's Challenge with Native Path Collagen Peptides. It's affordable and convenient care in just one scoop a day. There are so many incredible health benefits like bone and joint support, metabolism booster, and hair, skin, and nail improvement. I like to take a moment each day to prioritize myself and indulge in the health-boosting benefits of Native Path Collagen Peptides. I love mixing it up with all the different smoothie recipes, too. Learn more about Native Path Collagen Peptides and read 7 important reasons why you should be taking collagen peptides at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Prioritize your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today and get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
Target.com. Target.com is an online e-commerce tire retailer. We are here to serve the American public with the best possible customer service, the best pricing, and we make it extremely easy. We have many name brands and a lot of low-cost tires. The price is right, and it's easy. You go online to Target.com, Tireget.com, Target.com. You go there, you put your zip code in, all the inventory displays right in front of you. You can call in for help if you want to. We'll help you get the tire that you need. But we will take the tires you buy and at no extra charge deliver them to the dealer right by your house where they will be installed at the market price. It's easy. The best price, the best service. Great people to deal with. Thank you for going to Target.
Now more than ever, President Trump needs battle-tested conservatives fighting alongside him to save our country. That's why Trump endorsed Matt Van Epps for Congress. West Point grad, 9 combat tours, decorated Army vet. Matt Van Epps has devoted his life to defending America and the conservative values we cherish. Endorsed by Trump, fearless conservative. Tennessee's Matt Van Epps for Congress. School Freedom Fund is responsible for the content of this ad.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, Aaron Gulbertson. Aaron, we're in day 23 of this shutdown. Now, the continuing resolution that would have continued the budget from last fiscal year now, without any changes, passed the House of Representatives, but the Senate never passed it. There have been 12 votes to pass it. They've not reached the 60-vote threshold needed in the Senate, in this case, to pass it. The Democrats seem to have no interest in resolving this issue. Where does this go? What's the Democrats' objective in this case?
I mean, if you're using logic...
Well, there is a logic.
The logic would be to attempt to
is.
get the Republicans, and the president to bend to their will.
Okay, and their will is, let's put back in health care for illegal aliens. Yeah. Let's put back $500 million for PBS. And let's get all those subsidies for Obamacare that are going to expire on December 31st. Let's get them in this deal right now.
So, and of course, what is getting rid of, when you get rid of health care for illegals, by the way, what that does is it also means that some of them will self-deport.
Yeah, and they want to have as many illegals as possible here. But that is a traditional logic way of looking at it, right? But if that were the case, then you would see Democrat leaders communicating in a more cooperative way. But they're not. They are actually ratcheting up the anti-Trump, anti-Republican rhetoric in ways that I can't recall when I've seen it. This vituperative, you like that one? Vituperative from the Democrats.
It's the word of the day.
Word of the day.
Beyond the normal logic, I can't tell you what their logic is at that point. I mean,
I have a theory.
All right, what's your theory?
They actually are seeking to create societal chaos. Now, okay, let me kind of roll with this, because there's been no indication, even though the traditional analysis is, well, they're not winning in the court of public opinion, which is true, and they had been previously, but in this case, they're the ones stopping it. But we had a caller in the last segment, and I've seen, maybe you might have some views on this. There have been a lot of social media posts, purportedly from individuals who are getting food stamps, right? And they present as the stereotypical version of somebody who's getting food stamps, right? But in those social media posts, they say, look, right now, food stamps got, I guess I don't know if they're monthly or bi-monthly, but the first missed date right now is November 1st. And right now, it doesn't, because the Trump administration has been able to move some money around and pay the military on October 15th, which was a pay date. I don't know if they'll be able to do it November 1st, but now if November 1st is the first date you don't get food stamps, I've seen maybe a dozen of these video clips that say, look, if it's November 1st and I don't have my food stamps, I'm going to walk into the grocery store and punch anybody or hit anybody or do violence to anybody who is going to prohibit me from taking my food. What level of concern would you have that actually may happen in a broad scale on November 1st?
I mean, not in red areas. I could see it being a realistic possibility.
I don't know. I mean, I don't know. Now, think about this. If it's broad, and there are like 42 million people getting food stamps right now. I mean, you're talking about, and even if only like, I don't know, 0.5% of them do that.
Yeah,
that's 200,000 people.
So
that is a mob in every major American city. I don't know if this is going to happen.
So the conclusion, though, to that, if that were a approach, then that is the standard Soros playbook, which is to attempt to destabilize a government or a country in order for a Marxist takeover.
Yeah, it would be an attempt to destabilize the country. That's what it looks like.
That would be diabolical.
Well, look, I mean, we'll find out. I mean, sometimes people get on social media and they yak and nothing comes of it.
Well, I would say I would have a hard time believing, even if that were the Democrats' objective, that they were that smart.
How many people showed up at the No Kings March? 1 million, 2 million?
Something like that.
Something like that.
In a country of well north of 300 million.
It wasn't the 17 million that J.B. Pritzker said, but still, there were,
How would he know? He was at the blackjack table.
Where he earned over $1 million, right?
He should retire from government and just teach blackjack at that point.
Well, he's from a billionaire family.
Yeah,
it's like pocket change for him.
Must be nice.
Yeah, exactly. But this scenario, if there were 200,000 people crashing the grocery stores, that would be very destabilizing. Asterisk. It would be like riots.
I don't think they're going to Sprouts.
They're not. They're not going to Sprouts. I mean, it could be, it could be grocery stores, convenience stores, whatever. There's usually probably not a stuff in a convenience store, but I mean, if I own a convenience store in a blue city right now in the central area, I might just like shut down on November 1st.
I mean, listen.
Am I overreacting?
I'm not. I don't know. Maybe. I clearly do not run the government of the United States of America, and sadly never will. I think that SNAP should never exist. I think that whole entire program should be abolished.
I don't disagree with it, but let's put on your Nostradamus hat. We're 23 days into this. I don't see at this moment. I can't tell you when this thing will end. What do you think?
I think, to go back to some sense of logic, I think the Democrats probably have, I think Chuck Schumer anyway, has a date in mind.
What is that date?
I don't know. I remember I once told Chuck Schumer in person to go blank himself, so I'm not in that inner circle.
You're not in the mind of Chuck Schumer?
But I would say I'm attempting to morph to find some logic in what he's doing. But I would guess that he has a particular date in mind that he's willing to go to, say they fought the good fight and go back and then go to all their constituents and say, some version of we Donald Trump, screwed you out of your SNAP
Does the
benefits
Senate invoke the filibuster, override the filibuster in this instance to get this done?
They may be willing to do so. I don't know.
Look, if and I think the odds of this are very low, but if on November 1st there's widespread chaos and violence, my guess for people looking for food stamps, my guess is the Senate then goes into session and they break the filibuster.
Yeah.
That's what I think would happen.
I mean, listen.
And Trump calls out National Guard and sends them into all these blue cities. That's what I think would happen.
Charge them all with felonies and see which one of them are American citizens, and then you just lost the whole swath of Democrat voters.
Really, you would think that then you would run it if there's this widespread chaos. And again, I'm just speculating.
Yeah.
Then you would see a huge burden on our courts everywhere. But okay, I think bring it on. We might be at that point. I hope I'm just, shooting the breeze here.
In reality,
but it's a possibility.
Those of us commenting on the daily ongoings of a shutdown are really just trying to figure out what's going on
in the minds of the political leaders.
And in reality, at least most of this is just one gigantic waiting game, seeing who's going to blink first.
Well, the Republicans there's no way they're going to blink.
Yeah,
there's no way.
No.
They've held all the cards here.
No.
And I do think, though, if it gets to the point of where there's a problem for paying, if you will, of the troops, there's a national security argument to invoke to basically get rid of the filibuster.
Yeah.
For that very specific. And I think you could craft it in a way that says, yeah, we're going to break the filibuster rule only in the case of budget shutdowns that last more than 35
X amount of days.
I think that would be where this would end up. But I don't think that – I think it is more likely that it's going to have to be a power play by Republicans, because I think the Democrats are in the mistaken belief that somehow they are winning over public sentiment by doing
I don't think they are, but the truth is, and here is the danger, and I think you're probably right on the Republicans' ultimate end strategy there. Whoever seems like the people leading to whichever party seems like they're leading towards the resolution of this are the ones that ultimately will win at the end of the day.
That's a good point. We'll be back with more, and I think we'll hear from State Senator Mark Pody. He's kicking off his re-election campaign on Saturday, and he'll call in and kind of give us some details on that. It's going to be in Lebanon, and if all goes well, he'll call in. Back after this.
EJ Haast here, founder of the Digital Footprint Management Agency and frequent guest on the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, here to tell you about GetFoundEverywhere.com. Customers are searching for your business everywhere: Google, Apple Maps, TikTok, and new AI platforms like ChatGPT and Gemini, which is a total disruptor. Traditional search engine optimization isn't dead, but it is on life support. Old tactics don't work anymore. So how can you make your business stand out? GetFoundEverywhere.com makes your business pop on over 50 search, map, review, and AI-driven platforms. With one easy dashboard, manage business profiles, social media accounts, direct messages, even texts and reviews. GetFoundEverywhere.com is affordable, boosts your visibility, and gets your business more customers. It's time to step up your game the easy way. Save time, save money, and get more customers with GetFoundEverywhere.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
I'm Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of Glockstore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported the Second Amendment rights of free men and women to protect themselves and their families with firearms. We offer the very best in both selection and prices on Glock handguns, custom Glocks, Glock magazines, and high-performance shooting accessories at Glockstore.com. We also have the finest retail showroom and our Shoot 270 shoot rooms right here in Nashville, Tennessee. Come visit us at Glockstore.com, and you'll be glad you did.
My fellow Americans, my good friends, I've known them for a long time, at D.T. McCall & Sons have the deal of a lifetime for you, and nobody knows deals like I do. That much I can tell you. Nobody knows deals like I do. The lumber yards, they can hit you with hidden charges for up to $200 extra. They'll charge you for cords and hoses and haul-offs. Your money goes all over the place and out of the state, and most importantly, out of your pockets. How do they get away with that? I don't know how they do that, but on day one, if you buy from McCall's, we are going to stop the hidden charges as soon as you buy it. D.T. McCall & Sons has locations in Lebanon, Carthage, Lafayette, Cookeville, and Franklin, and they have been family-owned in Middle Tennessee for over 100 years. Head to one of their stores today or check them out at dtmccalls.com. You're going to love it, believe me.
Impersonator not endorsed by Donald Trump.
Chanel Sheeran here, inviting you on behalf of Senator Mark Pody to join us for his community re-election kickoff this Saturday, October 25th from 11 to 2, right here in Lebanon. Visit markpody.com for more information. We're excited to welcome Dr. Ben Graham, appointed by President Trump as Faith Director for the U.S. Department of the Interior. As your current state senator, Mark leads with faith, stands for family and freedom, supports our schools, protects our children, and fights to keep Tennessee strong. Paid for by Campaign Mark Pody, Kristen Hibden, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back. In studio, Aaron Gomison, head of the Tennessee Conservative Coalition. On our newsmaker line right now, our very good friend, State Senator Mark Pody. Good morning, Mark.
Good morning. It's great to hear you right now. You are always bringing great news to Tennessee.
Well, great news is you are formally launching your re-election campaign this Saturday in Lebanon from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Where will it be, and who will be there?
So it's going to be at 801 Horn Springs Road, right there in Lebanon. And we got a wonderful event center there. It's on a farm. We're going to have a great time, barbecue. Come on out and eat. I've got somebody that is actually in the White House, and it's Dr. Ben Graham, and he's actually from Middle Tennessee as well. And he goes up to Washington every single week, and Monday through Friday, and he works in the White House. He works on the faith initiative up there. So he's going to be there and give us some updates on what's happening at the Washington, D.C. Capitol as well.
801 Horn Spring Road in Lebanon from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. on Saturday. And barbecue and other good stuff. And Dr. Ben Graham, who works in the White House, will be there. That's a pretty good. And, of course, we'll hear from you as well, right?
Yes. Now, I've just got to point out things that are going on right now, and it's so important that we keep Tennessee the way it's going. I hear some of the Democrats out there talking about, they want to help get rid of the sales tax on food. And it's interesting, they're the ones that put the sales tax on food, and Republicans have cut that 4 times since we've had the reins here in Tennessee. We've cut taxes 56 times since we've been here in control in Tennessee. We want to keep that kind of record going right now.
Yeah, and so you have quite a career in politics. You've represented Wilson County in the state Senate for, when were you first elected to the state Senate? And before that, you represented parts of Wilson County in the State House.
That's correct. So I came in 2010 in the Republican wave when actually switched from a Democrat-controlled state to a Republican-controlled state. So I came in with Governor Haslam at that point, and I served 8 years in the House, and now I'm in the Senate right now. And I do represent all of Wilson County, and a portion of Davidson County.
Oh, that's right. I
With
forgot to
Davidson
mention
County,
that. All of Wilson County
and so
and a portion of Davidson County.
that's correct. And one of the biggest things I've got since I've been here in Davidson County is Michael, is our traffic, and we've got to have real solutions to address the infrastructure. This is a state priority, and we got to keep focused on that.
Yeah, I know when you've come in here to talk live in studio, you talk about fixing traffic problems. And, of course, you know, as we've grown here in Middle Tennessee, particularly, you know, parts of your district in Nashville, Davidson County, and Wilson County, a lot of commuting going on back and forth. That is really a key priority. And I guess that's one of your number one priorities.
Yes. We want to do what the state is supposed to do. One of the things that infrastructure is in the state purview, I want to get away from things that we're not supposed to do as a state. And the smaller government is better. What's done locally is usually best. We don't need the federal government coming in to tell the state what to do. We need to stand up for the 10th Amendment and just make sure Tennessee's taking care of Tennessee.
Well, one thing to add is, I mean, you entered this political arena in 2010 with a lot of energy. And I've known you since, you know, you're first elected back in 2010. Now it's 2025. This election will be in November of 2026. And I can tell you honestly, Mark, that you have as much energy today as you had when you started back in 2010.
Well, I am more energized at this point with the things that we're going on and fighting just to make sure the silliness that's going on where we got to stand up and say there's only two sexes, that God made male and female, and we've got to be even defining things like that. It is so critical that we make sure we keep good, solid, conservative values here in Tennessee.
Well, common sense and good conservative values, that's kind of been your hallmark, Mark. So, again, let's just say where this is going to be. It's 801 Horn Spring Road on Saturday in Lebanon from 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Lots of barbecue, good food, and Dr. Ben Graham will be there. And it's the campaign kickoff for the re-election of State Senator Mark Pody, who represents all of Wilson County and a little bit of Davidson County. So, Senator Pody, thanks very much for taking the time to come on and talk to us about this event.
Thank you. We hope to see you all there.
Well, we really appreciate it. That's State Senator Mark Pody. In studio, Aaron Goldmanson. You know, it's interesting. That season is coming up again. We've got the Tennessee General Assembly will be convening in January, and it'll be another interesting legislative session. It'll be the second year of a 2-year term, and then State Senator Pody will be one of I think this year it's 17 of the 33 state senators on the ballot.
Something like that.
Yeah, it's either 17.
It's either 16 or 17.
Yeah, it's either one. You know, because they're 30. The way this works, folks, is in Tennessee, the state senate, the senators are elected to 4-year terms, and about half of them are elected 1 2-year term, one election, and then 2 years later, the other half are elected.
Well, and from everything I've seen and heard, it looks like that there is a leftist populist move again, you know, to go after a very conservative state senator like Mark Pody, as well as Senate Majority Leader Jax Johnson and State Senator Adam Lowe. I think you'll see a few more challenges probably sometime, you know, manifest sometime over the next few months. But those are the three that I know are being challenged from the leftist populist side. So.
Yeah, and it's interesting that you say that because that challenge typically comes in the Republican primary.
Yeah.
Which is kind of interesting. Now, just to set this all up, there are 33 members of the state Senate. There are 99 members of the state House. The state House is elected every 2 years. The state Senate, it's a 4-year term, and they stagger them. So half are elected this year, half plus one, or half minus one,
right,
will be elected in 2028. I don't see much changing in the Tennessee General Assembly in terms of the party mix.
I mean, you'll have your in terms of the party mix, 100%. In terms of your In terms of who occupies some of those seats, I mean, you've got some retirements, right? You have, you also have the State House Majority Whip Johnny Garrett running for Congress
in the 6th district,
in the 6th district. So there will be a race to succeed him from that.
Yeah.
Unlike Democrats, I don't think Johnny's name is on both ballots. Where Justin Pearson's running for re-election to the State House and running for Congress at the same time.
Whoa. Is that true?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he's pulling a Gloria Johnson.
He's
pulling
a Gloria Johnson. Well, let's just be clear. It is not illegal to do that.
No.
You can run for both the state. Well, it's not. He's covering his bets, right?
Yeah, if you just go the whole bore, run for 5 offices at once and see what you can get elected to. But anyway, but so that'll be a high profile because that's a member of leadership. You've got I've seen written on social media that Jody Barrett may. Oh well, actually that'd be another one that from the left, the left of the sitting candidate anyway. I mean, Jody Barrett will be running potentially against a sitting state senator, Kerry Roberts. I know some outlets are reporting that.
Jody.
He just ran for Congress, right?
But Jody is a state representative from Dixon County. He ran for Congress in the special election. Got kind of stomped, I would say.
Yeah, I mean,
he lost 52% to 25%.
Yeah. Oh,
and there were Gina Bosso was also in that.
No, listen, Matt Van Epps' ultimate results stomped on everybody, but yeah, Jody was the the prime alternative there.
I think he's publicly stated at other times that he's not running for Kerry Roberts.
Well, I just saw reported the other day that actually I think this morning that he was going to. I don't know what he has said. This is not his.
Yeah, no, it's not him.
So all that to say,
where was that reported? You saw it.
Not worth mentioning whose blog it was reported on.
Oh, it was a obscure blog.
Yeah. So
got it.
Who should have some knowledge of it, but either way, that's an interesting thing because. I think it's widely expected that he will, if he doesn't run for a Senate seat, he'll have his own primary challenge. It's widely expected that Todd Warner will have a primary challenge.
Yeah, Todd Warner. Todd Warner. We've been highly critical of him. He's been opposed.
We've discussed this on this show probably within the last year and a half. I believe the phrase "Todd Warner needs to go" has been mentioned.
He represents all of Marshall County and a sliver of Williamson County.
Yeah,
the sliver of Williamson County in which I reside.
Yes. So the draft Michael Patrick Leahy for state rep.
A man's got to know his limitations.
They want you to accept a demotion, Michael. It's actually
a man's got to know his limitations.
Those are some examples of a slew of elections that are likely to happen. There'll be other races. I mean, I expect there to be, Brian Bethard, famous against school choice, who ran against Lee Reeves last time, has told people
kind of run again.
Yeah, it looks like he's going to run against Lee Reeves again for the state house.
The school choice issue is a done deal. I mean,
actually, it is. Other than the fact that the anti-school choice side is never going to give up their fight to stop it, because every year we're going to see a budgetary fight over this, because we must expand it.
It has to be expanded.
The more applications there are, the more the program is going to have to grow. Of course, Cameron Sexton, Speaker of the State House, has said, and I agree with him entirely, and based on the retweets and the quote tweets, it looks like the next governor of the great state of Tennessee, Marsha Blackburn, agrees with it as well, that he wants to double Cameron Sexton wants to double the program.
Well, it needs to. We can get into that, but I think as part of a broader plan, it needs to, grow over the next 5 years by much more than double.
And when I agree with that entirely. But so what that shows, though, is all the state reps and the state senators, by and large, are, the anti-school choice side is going to look to see if they can pick off some of those seats to fight against the expansion of school choice in Tennessee.
Right.
Or the Education Freedom Act.
Because there's a budget element to it.
And those like me want to see the ones that are getting in the way of that go bye-bye. So,
But at the highest level, probably supermajorities for Republicans.
No, I mean, the
return.
Republican supermajority is not going to change. It's probably not going to increase, but it's not going to change.
Aaron, when we come back, your favorite segment.
News Potpourri?
News Potpourri. Back after this.
Tom Carmichael, CEO of Soul Tea, a supplement to help you have a healthier heart and stronger cardiovascular system. At Soul Tea, we regularly get emails from our customers telling us how Soul Tea has helped them. Like this one from Kelly. Hello, I'm 58 years old and have had high cholesterol for years. I wanted to stay away from prescription drugs. My husband and I have been using Soul Tea for about 13 months. My results have been amazing. My cholesterol levels went from 291 to 129. I am so impressed with Soul Tea and want to thank you. Now, in my own case, my bad cholesterol dropped from 130 to 89, and that was 20 years ago. I'm 75 years old and I take 0 prescription drugs. To get a great deal on Soul Tea, please go to GodzillaHeart.com, and when you check out, use the code Godzilla to get our best deal, which is 50% off your first shipment and then 3 bottles for the price of 2 thereafter. You don't have to live with a broken heart.
Do you suffer from
Try
declining
Soul Tea
bone and
today.
joint health? Hi, it's Tina with the John Fredericks Media Network. And when I heard about our company's Women's Challenge, I jumped on the opportunity to test this amazing supplement that's already restoring my bone density, soothing my joint pain, and helping me regain lost mobility. I've experienced so many benefits in such a short time with Native Path Collagen Peptides because they support my bones and joints, boost my metabolism, and unleash the most radiant skin and hair since my 20s. In just 2 weeks, my knee stiffness is gone, and I'm already hitting the gym more aggressively. And I get so many compliments on my glowy skin and shiny hair. Native Path Collagen Peptides are so easy to take. They're tasteless, odorless, and mix great with my morning coffee. Read thousands of 5-star reviews at getnativepath.com/Godzilla. Level up your self-care with Native Path Collagen Peptides. Try it risk-free for as low as $21 today. And get free shipping at getnativepath.com/Godzilla.
In 2008, the amount of concentrated time people could spend on a task without becoming distracted was 12 seconds. 5 years later, it was only 8 seconds, 1 second less than a goldfish. If you're often distracted or have trouble recalling information, you're likely to fall behind in the demanding, fast-paced 21st century. In other words, brain performance is more critical now than ever. Boost your brain power with Healthy Cells Focus Plus Recall. Science-backed nootropics to help you sharpen focus, concentrate longer, enhance recall, improve mental speed, learn rapidly, and be more alert. It's a pill-free brain supplement made with maximum absorption ingestible gel technology, designed to feed your brain at the cellular level. Take it for a test drive. Go to healthycell.com and use code GODZILLA for 20% off your first order of Focus Plus Recall. That's healthycell.com, code GODZILLA for 20% off.
This is Michael Patrick Leahy. Join Rutherford County Mayor Joe Carr, Senator Marsha Blackburn, Congressman Tim Burchett, and Knox County Mayor Glenn Jacobs and me at T-Bones and Politics 2025 on the evening of November 10th in Murfreesboro for a night of great food, good fellowship, and inspiring political speeches. Get your tickets now. They're going fast at tbonesandpolitics2025.com. This is a great annual event. This year, musical entertainment will be provided by the Tremolo Honey Band. If you haven't heard them before, they are absolutely fantastic. This special event is sponsored by Barrett Firearms, Old South SRM, Moody Excavating, Azure Flight Management, and SEC Engineers. So go right now to tbonesandpolitics2025.com and get your tickets for T-Bones and Politics. It's an evening of great food and fun on November 10th. I'll see you there. Paid for by Joe Pack, William Ronsley, Treasurer.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. Now, here's Michael Patrick Leahy.
Welcome back to the Michael Patrick Leahy Show. In studio, official guest host of the Michael Patrick Leahy Show, Aaron Goldmanson. Aaron, that time of day again. It's time for News Potpourri. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this is the portion of the program we're talking about the stories that are of note, don't necessarily merit a full segment, and may have a touch of
irony.
Okay. Virginia politics.
Mm-hmm.
Elections coming up. We got the gubernatorial. You got Spanberger, the D, versus Winsome Earl Sears, the Republican. But the attorney general's race, the incumbent there is a great attorney general, Republican, Jason Myers. The challenger, Jay Jones, has acknowledged that in 2022 he sent text messages, said that he wanted to put two bullets in the head of the Speaker of the Virginia House, and then he wanted to kill the kids and have the wife there watch the kids die. Okay, that guy. But there's more. Did you see this happen last night? The story broke last night?
No, I didn't. I'll tell you why I have a smirk on my face.
Well, let me tell you what broke last night. So Jay Jones, a couple years ago, was arrested for recklessly driving 116 miles an hour.
Right.
You saw that.
Well, that was out for a few weeks.
Yes. Okay, but now, here's the deal. He was sentenced to 1,000 hours of community service. And there's a real question as to whether or not the 1,000 hours he purported to have performed were really legitimate. 500 were for the NAACP, and 500 were for a PAC that he ran. I mean, that's not allowed, actually, the political angle.
Yeah, no, it's not. And it's amusing that the Democrats and the teachers unions refuse to pull their endorsement of Jay Jones. The smirk on my face is just, I always am like 1 degree separated from all this stuff. I actually know exceedingly well former Speaker of the House of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Todd Gilbert. We've shared cigars several times.
And
so
he's the guy.
He's who was the target of this.
He was the target of this. Yeah.
So,
well, I mean, this whole driving thing, cheating on community service, how can you have the chief law enforcement officer of a state who threatened to kill his political opponent and his political opponent's kids, and then drove 116 miles an hour in a 70-mile-an-hour? How do you do that? And then he allegedly cheated on his community service. And that whole legal issue has not been fully resolved yet, apparently.
I mean, it shouldn't happen, and I think that the sitting Attorney General of the Commonwealth of Virginia, Jason Myers, is going to win the race. But I mean, no, the guy should. I will express a slight frustration or something. We keep saying he should drop out, and he should. That doesn't happen anymore. There is no honor if you have a D next to your name. There's no honor in the Democrat Party.
There's no honor. I mean, it's all about power. It's about nothing but power. That's all it's about.
But I got something for you.
Tell me. What you got?
Have you seen the wild thing completely breaking and more details the entire day today? And here's one of the articles about it. FBI ties NBA, National Basketball Association, gambling case to 4 mafia families.
Yes, I saw that. Broke today. The press conference. It's a little bit confusing. One element of it is the possibility that an NBA player kind of threw a game in some regards.
Apparently 31 people were arrested.
Most of it, though, has to do with a kind of weird illegal gambling deal where NBA players like Chauncey Billups, and now the head coach of the Portland Trail. I think he's
liked Chauncey. He made his.
But they would rig these gambling games, and they would have like high-profile NBA players show up as quote face cards, and then the fish would be the people with the money, and they would run crooked games.
Right.
The guys would show up because they wanted to gamble with an NBA player. I mean, first. Not that they deserve to lose some money, but if that's your standard, pretty crazy. Hey, here's one. Donald Trump. He's really taking it to reporters. Somebody was asking him about the ballroom. I want to play this exchange for you right now.
I just want a quick follow-up on that question. Your response to people who say that you haven't been transparent enough about this.
I haven't been transparent?
That some of your critics feel it should have gone for a
I've
review.
shown this to everybody that would listen. Third-rate reporters didn't see it because they didn't look. You're a third-rate reporter, always have been. so third-rate reporters didn't look. But anybody that asked, these pictures have been in newspapers. They've been all over the place, and we're very proud of it. It's gotten great reviews. It's gotten really great reviews. So,
okay, so there, the reporter said, "Well, are you not being transparent about this ballroom in the East Wing?" The Democrats are all upset about this, and they're saying it's our house, not his house. Well, he's fixing up a problem, and he's going to really turn the East Wing. I guess they're claiming, he didn't fully disclose how much he was going to change the East Wing. Who cares?
Right.
Oh, how silly is this? Huh?
It's exceedingly silly. It's just that it's another episode of Gaslighting in America, talking about all that stuff. By the way, did you see that Curtis Lewa stormed off the set of his own radio show after he went on a rant?
Oh, he stormed off?
Yeah, because the owner of WABC, John Katzimatidis, said you should probably quit the mayor's race.
Yeah, interesting. Well, a little drama there. It's not going to matter. Mamdani's going to win. And New York's going down the tubes. And on that happy note, Aaron Gomerson, thanks for joining us today.
Thank you.
And up next, Rob Carson. I'll be back tomorrow morning. Hey, we have Tim Burchett in studio in our Hour 3 tomorrow. That'll be a lot of fun. I'm Michael Patrick Leahy. The website, TennesseeStar.com.
This is State Senator Mark Pody. Government is limited to what it is supposed to do. One of the things that is critical that we're supposed to be working on is transportation. Here in Middle Tennessee, our roads need more help. As your state senator, we are focused on getting more money reoccurring without a new tax increase for our roads here in Tennessee. This is State Senator Mark Pody.
Paid for by Campaign for Mark Pody, Christina Hibden, Treasurer.
Hey there, it's Lenny McGill, founder and CEO of GlockStore.com. For over 30 years, I've supported our Second Amendment rights with GlockStore.com, the world's #1 source for Glock handguns, parts, and accessories. I also support accurate, unbiased journalism like The Michael Patrick Leahy Show. His team broke the Kilmar Abrego Garcia traffic stop and was the first to obtain that video. Independent journalism at its finest. Visit us at GlockStore.com. Listen to Michael Patrick Leahy and make America great again.
FlatFeeNashville.com is a full-service real estate brokerage that charges homeowners a upfront flat fee of $999 to completely list, market, and sell your home. We are all about saving consumers money, saving that equity. Nobody should hire an agent and feel like when that agent walks in the door, that agent is more concerned about the down payment on their next Mercedes purchase versus saving the equity that those homeowners have worked hard for. I've spent my entire career in ensuring that the equity that people save and they put into their monthly mortgage every single month, as much of that as we possibly can goes back to them when they go to list and sell that home. The idea is to give homeowners the ability to really create generational wealth.
FlatFeeNashville.com, FlatFeeNashville.com.